I sent him Vagisil one time after a comment that he made, so I'm gonna send him some Just for Men gel next time when I get home.
100%.
I can make whatever decision I want to with my body, my choice.
But your body.
But you better wear a seatbelt. Fuck you. If I don't want to wear one, I don't have to wear one.
I feel like we struck a nerve.
Welcome to Oil and Whiskey, an Ironclad original. Today's guest in person, Chris Cerce, owner of Chris Cerce Customs, car collector and Lobster Trap owner, proprietor extraordinaire, Dave DeLancey. As you can see, if anybody's watching, anybody that's listening, you're fucking missing out. Better go to YouTube and check it out. Quite the bounty that we have. And I would assume you're trying to win best guest ever. We're 101, 102, 103 episodes or something like that. Over 100 episodes in. And
I think he's just anxious to get his legend truck moved along. Which isn't a bad way to expedite the process.
I'm just in the hospitality business, man. I'm just trying to be hospitable.
Is Matt Saxon in the hospitality business as well?
Oh, wait, he is. Yes.
Oh, okay. There was no sandwiches or anything sent for.
Remember there was that one time we had the oh, that's right. Didn't.
Yeah. We didn't even get a punch card. You'd think there'd be like a punch card. Like,
yeah, he could just send us a $10 gift card. We could run down and get McAllister's here.
Punch it 5-6 times, then you get a large sweet tea or something.
That's a big. They got to have
big lemon in it.
Yeah, the giant lemon.
Fucking softball size lemon. Well, before we change the screen on the back, tell us a little bit about what we have here in front of us. This episode is brought to you by the Lobster Trap, Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Well, the official lobster sponsor of the Roadster Shop.
Yes.
And Oil and Whiskey.
Well, I couldn't come out to Illinois and not bring you guys a little treat from Cape Cod. So we just got some chilled Maine lobsters and some oysters out of Scorton Creek in Barnstable, which is about 25 minutes from where the Lobster Trap is.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
Dude, for years, I was following your Instagram, Chris, and I'd always seem like, where's this dude eating all the time? Like, this looks fucking phenomenal.
That's good.
And it wasn't until we went out and we were hanging out around you guys. We went to the Lobster Trap, dude. Unbelievable restaurant. Awesome fucking place. So
Thanks, guys.
Honored to have it brought here to beautiful Chicago, Illinois.
Let's get after it. We got drinks to pour. We got eating. We got a fucking night ahead of us.
We do. Yeah, I hydrated before this one. I knew this was going to be a late one.
Did you?
I probably should.
I didn't hydrate enough. Traveling today, flight delays. We did not drink enough water today. So we'll just
there's
drink
water
whiskey
in
instead.
There's water in whiskey.
A little bit of water.
It's made with water.
Surprised you guys got in with the fucking ice situation. I think it's official, dude. That a Southerner cannot imitate the Boston accent.
You can't.
Can't be
no
done.
way.
I bet a Boston accent guy can't impersonate a Southerner either.
I mean,
I'm not even gonna try.
Go get some peanut butter and pack the roof of your mouth with it, and then start talking.
a few tall
Hey,
glasses
hey,
of that, I
John.
bet Dave
Hey,
could do it.
Yeah. Hey Josh, I'm gonna come over there and I'm fitting to whip your ass.
Fitting.
fitting.
That works. Well, guys, so glad y'all could come down. They're always better in person. It's gonna be a fun one.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
So what's been going on? Who wants to start?
I'll let Chris.
Who's been the
start.
busiest lately?
Dude, I've been busy as hell. We've just been cranking right along, you know? A lot of fun projects at the shop. A lot of stuff heading out the door this spring, so that's cool. A couple new guys at the shop that are all kicking ass.
It's awesome.
Yep. It's
You've
really
been
good.
following your social media. You've been working on a shit ton of different stuff.
Dude, we got a lot going on.
Ice pincher thing.
Chris has a really, really good team with him right now. Guys are really doing a good job, really gelling well together and cranking out some really nice stuff.
It's definitely the most solid crew we've ever had, and everybody works well together, so I think that's always important, you know?
Where are you grabbing guys from? Because you guys are like, geographically, seems like not maybe the easiest place to pull talent from.
You'd be surprised. I mean, it is difficult. So I lean to social media a lot to find help, you know, and I did it for a long time. So Eric, my main guy, I worked for him when I was younger. He was one of the first body shops I worked at when I was a kid. And I worked for him for a couple of months, and I was sanding Bondo on this fender, and I'm like, hey man, I got to talk to you. He's like, what's up? I was like, this type of work fucking sucks. My one monk. He's like, what do you mean? I thought you're a body guy. I'm like, I am, but I like old cars. Like, this is just boring stuff. I can't do it. And so I left, went on my own, and later on met up with him, and then ended up hiring him full time. And he's been killer running the shop when I'm not there. It's awesome.
Damn. How's that dynamic work? Is there any like hidden animosity, or is that all good?
You hired
Dude,
the boss.
No, it's totally cool because I don't treat anybody like they're like, I think I don't treat anybody like they're an employee. I work side by side with my guys all day. We're all dirty together. We're all fingers are bleeding together, and we're all just cranking it. So I think that helps. But I never looked at it like it was, that's something from my past, where I just think it's really cool we get to work together. I'm all about the talent.
Yeah.
When you have a lot of like-minded people that are talented, I think you can really succeed and grow together.
Fuck yeah.
You just pour it on there?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the pot is
Just
for,
like
for
your
the
cookout in the backyard.
for the listener. It's going to be tough because there's going to be some
Listener would be fine.
some gaps here while we enjoy it.
We got enough people. Just everybody don't chew at once.
Somebody just keep talking.
Can I steal some ice from you when you get a chance?
Sure. Send it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good.
I think the sound effects reel is going to be good.
It's going to be great. Yeah.
Good
All
ASMR.
kinds of sound
Have
effects.
that one more plate.
The brown water is really good.
Dude, that notch is fantastic. I think you sent a bottle of it last season. We had it, but it's good cold. It came chilled with the lobsters. So
Yeah,
it's fucking
yeah. We had it iced down with the lobsters coming out. I'm Fat X.
So, what have you been up to?
Oh man, we just been head down, working, just slinging lobsters, lobster rolls, shucking oysters. We stay pretty busy year round. A couple years ago, 2021, we bought a little dive bar up the street from the Lobster Trap Trading Post Lounge.
The beautiful shirt that Jeremy has.
That spot was
One of my favorite shirts.
in the neighborhood, open since 1940, and the owners prior to me had it for 35 years. They wanted to retire, husband and wife. We were able to help them retire, and that was like our go-to after-work spot. And it's like pool tables, jukebox, keno, and it was a little tired. And I'd always go in there as a entrepreneur, restaurateur. I say, oh man, if I had this place, I'd do this with it. And we were able to purchase it, renovate it, kind of all the ideas I had in my head we brought to life. And
Little rock in the basement, wasn't there? You had to deal with?
the basement was a crawl space. There was 3 boulders that they were between 10 and 17,000 pounds each. And
fucking Atlas stone down there.
I had some guys on jackhammers for like 5 days. They wouldn't break. Then we cored holes in them, put that, fracking epoxy in them, trying to split them. They wouldn't split. We ended up opening up the foundation of the building and dragging them out with an excavator and a dump truck. And that was not a fun project to do. But
You're like, yeah, it just doesn't look like something I'd even want to entertain getting after.
no, it was a good little challenge, but it has been a fun project. It's been fun to do. We're slinging little South Shore style bar pizzas, which is like a 10-inch little thin crust pan pizza. And the menu is very simple, but we, as in Lobster Trap fashion, we make everything in house. Like down there, we're making dough, making sauce, grading our own cheese, hand cutting French fries, making our own pickles, poaching our own turkeys for turkey clubs, and just keeping it very simple. And I mean, you guys have been down there.
Yeah. Dude, it was
just
like,
a cool little
pizza's
neighborhood
amazing.
spot. And,
yeah.
we're cranking out a ton of pizzas. And
Pizza's great. It like perfectly captures the dive bar like concept without being like shitty. Like it's
Yeah.
super fucking badass,
Yeah.
but it's got that like vibe,
Right,
which
right.
I'd imagine you probably had that in mind.
yeah, I mean,
well executed.
when we bought the property, like the mechanically, like the it was all knob and tube wiring, the old cesspool septic system. So we redid all that stuff. I mean, you wouldn't want your wife going in and using the bathroom in that place. So we kept it looking like it was.
Dude, I don't know. With you there, I still might not want my wife going in there.
Yeah. We kept it looking like it's from the 50s or 60s, but like ugly brown mosaic tile in the
Yeah.
bathrooms. And
How'd you
brown
even
sinks.
get into the restaurant business?
What
What led you to where you're at now?
when I was in the 7th grade, we had to do a career day. Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up, Dave? And I told my parents, like, all right, I think I like cooking. I think maybe I want to be a chef.
Were you cooking it in 7th grade?
No. So they were, our friend Mark Conley, he's a chef. Mark and Kevin Conley, twin brothers, great friends and mentors to me. So I went down and did this little job shadow for the weekend, and he needed a dishwasher. So I got sucked in at 12 years old and kind of never looked back.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That early, you were just like, yeah, that's what I want to do.
Well, I mean,
And-
there was bumps and peaks and valleys along
Well,
the way.
of course, but you like
No internet back then.
the direction stayed
Yeah.
the same. I mean,
Pretty much. I mean, I ended up going to college for, besides playing football and partying, I was a criminal justice major and thought I wanted to be a police officer or a lawyer or something like that. But by the time I was a junior in college, I was like, man, I'm going to stick with cooking.
You'd have made a hell of a fucking intimidating police officer.
You're not the first person that's told me that.
Justin Olson from was it Dakota Digital?
Yeah.
right?
Dakota, he used to be a
yeah, I
cop.
think it's Dakota.
He wouldn't have shit on
Yeah.
Dave as a
Yeah.
cop.
So you stuck with, what do you think at that early age? What had you seen that made you think, yeah, I'm into it. I want to cook.
I really think it was the environment I was working in. I worked for a really good chef that, Mark Conley there. And I worked for him from the time I was 12 until I started at the Lobster Trap when I was a junior in college. And he was just like an old school Dorchester, Boston, Irish raised guy that was French trained, which was made for an interesting combination in the kitchen. I mean, he was not easy to work for. His expectations were very high, and you had to deliver every day. But he was really good at what he did, and a lot of people wanted to work for him. And he made a lot of good chefs along the way.
How'd you get the Lobster Trap started?
The Lobster Trap has been in business since 1969. Started out as
Damn.
a little fish market, and a guy by the name of Logan Clark started working there in 1972. He ended up taking it over. He started wholesaling fish and lobsters. In the mid 70s, he opened the restaurant. And when I was young cooking, we always bought fish from the Lobster Trap. Everybody on the Cape always bought fish from the Trap. Everybody knew Logan. Everybody bought fish from him. And whenever he would have Christmas parties, employee parties, I would be the guy that would go over and cater and cook for him. And came home from college my junior year, 1998. Was working for Mark Conley he was running a private country club. So I'm working in this like $1 million kitchen, cooking for pro athletes every day. And Logan called up one day and said, hey, I got this restaurant. I need someone to run it. And Mark said, hey, you don't work for me anymore. I said, what do you mean? Oh, you know that guy Logan we buy fish from? Yeah, he owns a restaurant. You need someone to run it. Go down and talk to him. You start today. He's going to pay you more money than me. I said, I don't know anything about running a business. He goes, don't worry, he'll teach you.
Were you that bad of an employee that he just offed you?
No, I was probably one of his best guys, and he had a lot of respect for Logan. And I went down there, and I just remember walking into the kitchen. And back then, I mean, you guys see the Trap how it is now. The dining room was just a screened-in porch. There was no heat. We were open Memorial Day to Labor Day, just old school clam shack, getting your food on a paper plate. All you could get was fried seafood and lobster rolls. And I went down there, walked in the kitchen. I come from this $1 million kitchen I'm working in. I walk in the door, and the kitchen has like linoleum flooring, Formica countertops, no refrigeration. And I just looked around. I go, this place is a dump. I said, I'll help you for one summer. And that's it. And yeah,
Still there.
25 years later, I'm still there.
Do you have any formal training as a chef, or just kind of
Just
learn on the
just
job?
school of hard knocks, man. You know, Mark was he was a very good teacher. I owe a lot of my career to him. So yeah. And ironically, he's the one who got me into hot rods too.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's an influential dude right there.
Yeah.
Really shaped the career path
absolutely.
and life of a young Dave
Absolutely.
DeLancey.
Yeah.
So what year did you take over? How did that whole deal come
I
about?
graduated college. I was, college broke. I had a job in my field, criminal justice, and it was 1999. And I think that job was going to pay whatever it was, $24,000 a year or something. And Logan said, "Man, you're really doing a good job for me. Like, I'll pay you 30 grand for the summer, but you got to work 7 days a week." I'm like, "All right, cool. I need money." And I ran the place one more summer for him. And it was like, "Oh, well, I don't want to lose you. If you don't mind, like, packing lobsters or driving a truck, like, I'll put you on my health insurance and our profit sharing program, and pay you an hourly wage, and you just hang around for the winter."
Huh.
And just kind of kept hanging around. And eventually I kind of was like, when I took the trap over, the conversation with Logan was like, "Hey, I'm losing $10,000 a week. People are waiting an hour for food, and I can't get a cup of coffee at the coffee shop without 5 people telling me how terrible this place is. Can you help me out?" And I kind of helped him turn it around, and was getting a little, I don't want to say older. I was like 23, 24 at the time, and I wanted to
You're
do
wisening up a bit, starting to think about.
I wanted to do something on my own. And he ended up he had has a wholesale lobster and seafood company that was really taking off, and he didn't want to mess around with the restaurant anymore. And we kind of worked a deal. He literally like experimented with me, like, "Hey, I'm going to let you run this business. Like, I'm going to let you play businessman. I'm going to keep everything in my name. You're going to pay me X amount a month for rent, and whatever you can make, you can make." And we started doing that in 2002. So I was only 3 years out of college. And I'll never forget, like, sitting with the lawyers at a table like this, signing the lease agreement and all that stuff. And back then they had the old school, like, handwritten check registers. And he was going to keep all the bank accounts, everything in his name. And he went to hand me the checkbook, and I went to grab it, and he ripped it out of my hands. He goes, "Always remember one thing. This isn't your money. It's the Lobster Trap's money. Like, you pay your employees, you pay your bill, your vendors, you pay your taxes. If you got to go 6 months without a paycheck, tough shit, figure it out."
That's awesome.
And that was like one of the best lessons I ever got in my life.
That's good.
Yeah.
Pretty solid advice after being.
Very
Yeah.
solid.
Yeah.
Did you have in mind when that first month, to use your words, and he said he's going to let you play business? Obviously, you were younger, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, fixing to change the world. I got all the ideas, right? I'm going to show you. Watch what I do.
Oh, I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
You know how much shit I fucked up?
Yeah, exactly. But what was, like, on the core principles, what were some of the things that you knew needed to change or that you wanted to change?
I mean, just being a chef, I wanted to make the food better. Being in the hospitality business, like, you have to have that in your heart. You got to want to make people happy. You want to, I want you guys, after a long grinding week at the Roadster Shop, and maybe you've had a shitty week and customers might be a pain in the ass, or maybe a guy quits or something else. I want you to come in on a Friday night. I want to make you a good cocktail. I want to give you some good food, give you good service, and have you guys leave smiling and put you in a good mood. That's
How
the
about
main
the other
mission.
6 days a week? I could do that.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday.
All right.
What's
It's a tough concept to wrap your head around, though. Like, your business is everybody else's release from their business,
Right.
right? So
Right.
you got to put on that face, and you got to be the guy that's always keeping upbeat and keeping everybody happy
Every
and
day.
You're the oasis from their life.
We always like preach, man. Like, it doesn't matter what's going on in your personal life. You get to that front door, you check whatever you got going on at home. I don't care if your grandmother died. Like, it doesn't matter. You got to put that smile on when you walk in the door.
That's some super solid advice and something worth chatting about. I know my dad always preached that. I don't know if you ever caught any of that, but it was always leave it at the fucking door. Don't take your bullshit into work with you. That's whatever the fuck you got going on means nothing, right?
Right.
Which
Right.
it's difficult. I mean, more difficult for you because your attitude, your mood affects everything that's fucking going on there. So if you have some nasty shit going on, how do you fucking push through that? You're walking in, you're like, oh fuck. Like you can't walk around moping, pissed off.
Oh hell no.
You got to always turn
Hell
it
no.
on.
You know, and you know, when I was young and dumb, and not that I'm just a little older and dumb, but
Seasoned.
you know, I had that, you know, Irish young hothead temper that I was just striving for perfection all the time. And if I wasn't getting it, somebody was getting it. You know, somebody was getting an earful. And as I've gotten older and a little wiser and been in business, like if someone's making a mistake in the restaurant, someone on our team, it does me no good to like chew their ass out in the middle of dinner.
Yep.
Right. Because now I'm gonna like if a chef, like I'll use this analogy, if a chef or a cook has a bad attitude, the guest can taste it in their food. It just resonates through the whole restaurant. So
how do you maintain that morale mood with the whole fucking staff then? I mean, you got to keep, the chef's got to be pumped up. He's got to be raring to go. The servers, the
yeah.
front door, everything.
I just think that I think that for me, one like thing that's really helped me in business was playing college sports, playing football, playing high school football, being on a team. You know, I know hot rod guys aren't really into sports, but
Yeah, I was
for the
supposed to
most
play
part, but-
college basketball. They were,
Yeah.
I was like this close. Yeah, I rolled my ankle senior year and just
Not the cards for you, but
He was going to be the diversity pick.
not to get into sports too much, but football is the ultimate team sport. It's the only sport that it takes 11 guys doing their job for the team to win. You know, it's the only sport that you know, basketball you can play every other night, every 3 nights. Baseball they play every day. Hockey you can play 3 or 4 games a week. Football is the only sport that you have to spend an entire week preparing for one opponent.
Fucking gladiator.
And you can't and the quarterback can't take over a game without the line blocking, receivers running the right routes.
There's 11 guys on each side of that field, and
Yeah.
then there's 60 some odd on the roster.
Right.
And
So-
it just takes the one guy
right.
to drop the ball.
What's the trick to these bad boys, Dave? How do you
Just pull that
Yank that fucker
pull
out.
that baby out. and-
just squirt
yeah.
all over film?
And then that meat will slide right out. But so back to business, it's
Yeah, that's
You know
what I
what?
did.
you know, if Jeremy has a shit night at work at the Lobster Trap and he's fucking things up all night long, it's not Jeremy sucked tonight. It's we suck tonight.
Yep.
Yep.
How are we going to get better? What are we going to do? You know, and when we're doing something good, we're gonna praise you for it. We're gonna reinforce it, and you know, it's that win and lose the team mentality that carries you through and keeps everybody together.
Is staffing harder now than it was 20 years ago?
Mm-hmm. I think
Physical bodies or mentality?
mentality. I mean, we're pretty well staffed. We have a great team. You know, you got to learn to change with the times. It's definitely a different. You know, I don't want to sound dated or like I'm getting old, but it's a different era we're growing up in. You know, 99% of the 17 to 35-year-old, even some 40-year-olds now, they would not have lasted 5 minutes in the kitchen that I grew up working in. You know,
Spoken to too harshly?
a little bit. When I started working in a professional kitchen for Mark Conley, there was no schedule. Every night at the end of the night, what time you want me tomorrow, chef? Because you had to prove to him that you wanted cooking to be your life and nothing else mattered. if you didn't come to work clean shaved every day, he kept a rusty razor on his desk and you had to shave with that razor. If he told you to be to work at 8 a.m. and you
It's like
weren't
prison.
and you weren't on the line in your chef whites at 8 a.m. for every minute you weren't there, you had to wait 10 minutes to punch in. If you were the new guy, just anything that went wrong in the kitchen was your fault. From the minute you came in till the minute you went home, you just get yelled at.
What was the first thing that you learned to cook in that environment under that chef?
Oh shit! First dish I ever learned how to make was chicken piccata, which is just lightly breaded chicken sautéed in a pan with
Good
a
shit.
little bit of chicken stock, white wine, butter, capers, lemon.
How many times did it take to do it to please him?
A couple. Yeah.
Dude, fucking Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Slaps.
Right out of the microwave.
Well, I
onto your
will say
plate.
this about him. Like Mark always had him and his twin brother, Kevin, Kevin's in the auto body business. Hence the hot rod connection. Those guys always were building cars, always doing stuff. Every single Monday, the country club we worked at was closed. And Mark and Kevin had a 31-foot cigarette boat and a 39-foot Sea Ray. And every single Monday, he'd bring the entire kitchen staff out on his boat in the summer, bring you to the vineyard, bring you to Nantucket, he'd buy you lunch, buy you beers all day long, be your best friend. Tuesday morning, you're a piece of shit again. It's work.
Yeah.
Work's work, friendship's friendship. You got to know how to differentiate the both.
Damn.
That doesn't work anymore.
No.
Like that.
But-
Dude. It was
But
the
you-
same situation with the old man Bill. Used to run the show. Same thing, dude. Fucking like drill sergeant, Monday to Friday. As soon as he saw you punch that time card and you were off the clock, it was best fucking buddy in the
Yeah.
world. I mean, do anything for you, take you anywhere, throw the keys to my fucking hot rod, and then just destroy you the next morning when you walk in the door.
Yeah.
You say that
That
doesn't
doesn't-
work anymore. And again, we're not obviously not in the food and beverage industry. We're not in the service industry. Wife and father-in-law were in it for a long time, but he's from TV shows and other running around talking to people. They're still, if you're wanting to be, on the path to, Michelin star and you want to work under these stuff, there's still a very tough environment.
Oh,
Like
hell
there's
yeah.
still old school guys that are the gatekeepers to that you better fall in fucking line and you better be, I guess it's a little different mentality of,
Like the Gordon Ramsay fucking.
Yeah.
well, but you're also,
Right.
you're lucky to have that position. So no matter what you're going to be put through, you're not going to give that up, especially if it's one of the, dozen or so restaurants that are in the world that, French Laundry, all these places that
Right.
like you have to have that on your resume to kind of go up and be a restaurateur one day. And I don't know of other, you would think that our industry would be very similar to kind of have, maybe there's just way more opportunities or paths or I don't know. Maybe I'm completely wrong too. And the restaurant industry has completely changed over the last 15 years. With Instagram, I guess you could become famous overnight with
I
anything.
think so. There's a lot of, and I don't necessarily think that the way I was brought up in the kitchen was like the right way, maybe a little bit of balance in between, like
It worked out in the end. So
Yeah, it worked out. Believe me, I have no regrets, man. I have no regrets.
But you came in with a work ethic already. He didn't beat that
Yeah.
work ethic into you.
Right. Well, I think like playing sports, having that mentality, wanting to have more in life. I'd be in there and he'd be yelling at me, and I'd be like, "Fuck you, dude! You're not breaking me. I'll show you. I'll keep coming back. I'll keep coming back harder." It's kind of
It's winners.
always
Winners mentality.
always been my mentality.
What about you, Chris? How did you get your start to where you're at and make the wonderful decision to build hot rods for a living?
Hey, I'm sure glad he did. I'm glad he's in my neighborhood.
I'm glad I'm in your neighborhood too. But dude, building hot rods was a dream when I was younger, and I grew up reading like Carcraft magazine and writing in notes like, "How do I tune a carburetor?" And I'd never get a message back. I'm like, "Oh fuck!" Checking the mail every week. No letter back. No letter back. So that was interesting to try to break into something and just the questions I had so many questions and nobody did answer them. we had a guy up the street that worked on some old cars, and I go bug him and try to ask him questions, but it wasn't anything. He was like, get the fuck out of here. You know, like, I'm not going to give you, why should I give you any information? So it was really tough in my neck of the woods to really break into the car scene kind of. So I went after high school. Well, before that, even when I got into cars, I had this old clapped out dirt bike that I bought. It's like first job. The thing didn't run. And my family's friend, he was still like, guy lived down the street. Apparently he was into motorcycles and he could fix the engine. I'm like, oh great. Like I have no money, but I'm going to pay this guy to fix the engine. So we take the dirt bike to his shop and I'm in his basement and I'm looking at all the shit. I'm like, damn dude, like this is like clean. It's tidy. There's a GSXR sitting on a table and it has all these like quick fasteners on it and zip ties. And I'm like, what's that? He's like, it's a race bike. Don't touch it. I'm like, all right. So I didn't touch it and asking more questions. And he fixed the dirt bike, sent me on my way, rebuilt the motor. And I needed something. Like a couple months later, I went back to talk with him and he's asking me, what I'm into. I was like, oh, I'm trying to get into cars. Like I kind of learned a little bit. He's like, try to go to a tech school, do this, do that. And, pay your dues early. And maybe someday you'll make something of yourself. So I kind of, signed up for a tech school, went to Wyotech, and that was a pretty good school. At the time, it was my best option.
Sure.
But I always stayed in contact with this guy. I came back from school and he was kind of the one that would like push me into say like, hey, listen, there's a hot rod shop here. Go assert yourself. There's a fabrication shop up the street. There's a big time fabrication shop near us, DMC Racing. He puts like some of the nastiest cars on the East Coast. And I was like, man, that's the place I want to work. And I called a few times and tried to get in. And the guy, like, he's like, yeah, come for an interview. So I go show up for an interview and there's people everywhere. They're getting ready for a big race. And he's like hopping in a car and leaving. I'm like, oh, well, couldn't even give me, I wasted 2 hours just to wait to talk to this guy. And he blew me off and said, hey, sorry, I can't talk to you today. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I found another little hot rod shop. The guy wasn't hiring at the time. And I had just walked in. I said, listen, dude, I went to school to build hot rods and I want to come build hot rods. He's like, you went to school to build hot rods? He was this old school Italian guy. And so he's like, you can start maybe like cutting a couple of brackets for me. I'm like, okay.
Sweeping the floors.
Yeah. So that was kind of my first start, is like being pushed around and nobody really trying to give me the time. So I never gave up. I didn't want to go home and say I had no job after I went to tech school and try to make something of myself, So he did end up giving me a job, and it was slow going, but it was still, a foot in the door at a hot rod shop. So that's my first experience really at a hot rod shop. Is I was 19, fresh out of school.
Yeah. What kind of stuff did you end up doing? So you get in, you're cutting brackets.
So I'm cutting brackets.
You remember the first bracket or the first thing that you fucked up, or like there's got to be something like that you vividly remember?
Oh my
the
God!
First thing you cut, he was probably the first thing
like
you fucked up.
sucked a finger down in the bandsaw like day one.
Luckily, this guy was older, and he'd always leave on break with his friends to get coffee. I swear he worked 3 hours a day, but I was there 10 hours a day, so I did most of the work. It was all great because I was alone all day.
Yeah.
But when he'd leave, I lied and I told him that I knew how to weld aluminum, and I didn't. But I saw him do it, and I watched his hands. I saw the machine. He didn't touch any of the settings, so he'd leave for coffee, and I'm over there fucking blowing shit up. Like I'm like
on DC.
Yeah. AC on DC. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And I just left it, and I walked away. I left all his shit. He'd come back and, did you touch that machine? No, it wasn't me. Must have been you, dude. But the first thing I ever really fucked up that he got me on was there was a 44 that we were doing. We were doing a Heights front suspension on it. And there was like 3 of them in the shop at the time.
So it was fucked up before you even got started.
Totally fucked up. Brackets are all, we had that conversation about the brackets. He's like, hey, just got that stuff back from powder coat. I need you to assemble it on that car right there. He points to the car. I'm like, all right. So I go try to assemble it. And I'm like, man, fucking shit ain't lining up. Like the rack's kicking the A-arms way out. Like something's wrong.
Did you know at that point at 19, that, like what you were about to put on was like a bunch of bullshit?
Well, no, I didn't. I had no idea, dude. I was just like,
right.
At that time, like, so
that's their target audience, obviously.
No social media. Yeah, it was old guys. We just built hot rods for old guys that really didn't know.
Right.
At that time, there was, I don't even think like, who's the first chassis guy, like Art Morrison or something back in the day? Yeah. I don't even think they were around back then, dude. Like this is a long time ago. Yeah. And so I'm messing around with this thing. I'm like, I can't get anything to bolt on. I don't want to tell him I can't bolt this thing together because I'm going to look like a dick. So I go bother him. I'm like, hey, man, can you come check this out? I don't think these bolts are working right. And he comes over. He looks at the suspension all cocked. He's like, you fucked it all up. He's like, you didn't even bolt it on right. He's like, you don't belong in this hot rod shop. Get the F out. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude, I'm fired. I've been here for a week. Ugh. So I get home and I'm like sitting on the couch. My parents are like, what are you doing home? Yeah, you've just been there for a week. I'm like, I got fired. Like first time I ever got fired from a job. And she said, well, what do you do? I was like, well, I swear it wasn't my fault, but I had me bolt on these parts in a car that just did not line up. Literally an hour later, I get a phone call. Hey, yeah, I gave you the wrong box for the wrong car. I'll see you tomorrow. Hung up the phone on me. I'm like, this mother. So going there the
It
next
was
day.
rare that he actually owned up to it.
Yeah, he showed
brought
it
you
showed some
back.
character.
Yeah.
He did. But the next day, he didn't say anything about it. He was like super old school Italian,
Yeah,
military
move
guy.
on. Yeah, he's not going to tell you made a mistake. He hired you back. Just
Yeah.
fucking get back to work.
Dude, and I didn't say anything. I was just grateful. I brought coffee in the next day, a couple donuts. We're good to go. That was the first mess up, but it wasn't like my huge mess up. All the mess ups I did early were when he was out for coffee and I tried to do shit on my own that I didn't know how to do. So I learned on his coffee break. And then one day he said, hey, go weld that bracket. It was aluminum. I was like, yep, no problem at all. Welded it all up. It was good to go. And we never had that conversation. I never got a chance to tell him, which I would have. He had passed now, but would have loved to have told him,
Dude, I had one. It was like first week welding. I'm building Model A frame rails, and I'll never forget. Like right on the back of it, you got to put. It's like 2.5 inch, 2 inch wide. It starts as a 3x2, and I burn in a nasty MIG weld. So 2 inch MIG weld, fucking flaming hot. Somebody says something to me. I look over. I'm like nervous. I'm talking. I grab the frame rail.
Oh, no.
Right
Oh, no.
on and pick it up, like right through the fucking glove, and it's like.
But you don't want to drop it when you're.
Yeah, and just play it off. Like
I didn't do
what
that.
are you gonna do? Like
His face gets beat red.
Today, that would be like right to the fucking hospital. That's a workers' comp claim, maybe even a fucking lawsuit. Who knows? But yeah, you just tough it up, dude. Wrap that sucker up. Didn't say shit because I was more embarrassed that I fucking did it.
Oh, yeah.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
What are you talking about?
What, are you? Are you?
Yeah, it wasn't even that hot.
It's like glowing red still. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Your hands
I only had one
melted
this morning.
down.
Yeah,
on the floor.
I just tacked it anyway. It wasn't that.
That's the thing about me, man. Nothing burns me, really. I can just talking to all kinds of hot shit.
The calluses on my hand.
Just
Just
at
work
the-
all the time.
Just
Like,
at the
I'm-
Mexican restaurant last night, they handed me fajitas. I was like, fuck it, hand it to me.
Give me the sizzling plate, not the wood. I'm good.
That's the standard welder. Careful, sir. The plate's hot. Yeah, sure it is. Every time we go out to dinner.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good shit, dude. So you're working for this old man. How does that progress?
So I ended up working there for 3 years and I got to run a shop, but I had started my business on the side at home and didn't mention anything to him. He knew my ultimate goal was to do my own thing eventually. And I had bounced around when I worked with him for a couple shops. I had worked for Eric that works for me now, tried to learn from him and I did, just to kind of see how people ran their place, because I didn't take a business class. I'm like, I got to learn from somebody.
Yep.
So 3 shops that I bounced to and one shop that I had stopped at for 6 months. And the guy was just fucking screwing everybody that came in the door with a smile on his face. I won't say his name just to not be a dick, but man, he's got a terrible reputation. And even still to this day, he's still if you don't know him, some people will still have him work on car stuff. And it's kind of
Amazing
sad.
those guys stick around.
I can't believe it. After the horror stories you hear of,
Yeah, there's new guys getting into it and they don't ask around and talking the right thing. And it's
It's a big world.
Yeah, big world.
super big world. And
Full of a lot of shitty people.
tons of them, it's
Yeah.
crazy how many you meet. And people just want something for free, or that they can just take advantage of you with a smile on their face. And I always told myself, I could never do that. That's so sad. I'd rather not work on somebody's stuff than just take their money and not do any work for them. It's so sad.
Just think if there was some type of aptitude test for the customer and the shop.
Yeah.
And you could somehow funnel the shitty customers to the shitty shops.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
And then the midline customers to the midline shops, and and the high end customers to high end shops.
I bet you could make an app for that and make
You probably could answer 5 questions to the customer, 5 questions to the shop. And depending on the answers,
of the week.
Yeah,
depending on the answers, match them up.
that's a good idea.
Probably. You
There's
could
this-
have something there.
The standard.
That's a good idea.
Over the years, you've had a couple pretty solid ideas, and I've
It's-
discouraged you from.
What'd that
doing-
taste like in your mouth?
What's that?
That compliment.
Uh,
Bitter.
yeah,
Not as
I
good
don't
as a
know.
lobster.
I'm still enjoying this hot sauce.
That
It's
hot
phenomenal.
sauce is
So that's
great.
kind of lingering. This cherry pepper shark bait sauce. So I didn't really taste it, but that's rare. Mark it down. That's fucking probably number 2 of 2 seasons that you've received. From me. So
Sounds like success, dude. You better hop on that.
Yeah, you go buy a lottery ticket today.
Match made in heaven.
So
Yes.
sorry to derail.
No worries.
On to your next learning experience. So that guy's bringing.
Yeah, terrible. It was so bad that I left and I went back to the hot rod shop and he understood. He's like, I know you're a young kid trying to bounce around. He's like, you're going to find your fit. And it got to the point where my side work was just kind of taken off. And I had met a lot of good people at the hot rod shop and the guy was kind of on his way out work wise. He was really slowing down. It was just like a 1-man shop with 12 cars in it. And when I came along, we were getting a lot more done, but it just wasn't enough. And the customers kind of saw it. So they started pulling stuff out. And he stuck me in a jig fixture welding 32 Ford chassis together. We would get blank rails. I'd have to fit them to the jig, box them, hand make all the cross members. And I would do, I don't know, one every like 2 days. And I would TIG every one of them. And it was just like day and night. It was a lot. So that's where I really got a lot of bead practice. People ask all the time, like, how do you get a bead to look so good? I'm like, man, it's not YouTube, dude.
That.
Yeah.
You got to sit and weld and they don't want to spend the time. Well, you can't have the product if you can't spend the time. I don't know. There's no fucking easy button in this world, dude.
It's just fucking time behind the mask, man.
That's it.
That's what Carrazio says. Just time.
Oh, we're fucking going all out.
What?
She is on one.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's fun. Like those are the things that click. Like I've built
Slide
a
that
in.
shit ton of frame rails, right? And it's just, I mean, it's MIG welding, grinding, but like, man, do you learn like tool control? Like you can grind, like it's so applicable to so many things. Like I see
Really
what-
is.
the stuff you're doing with, I mean, your fucking exhaust work and everything is,
Yeah.
I mean, the welding definitely is a highlight. Like it stands out that it's good quality stuff.
Well, you learn like, okay, different fit. Like, sometimes when if I had to get something done and there's a little tiny bit of a gap and he's like, no, weld it anyway. And I'm a young kid. I'm like, okay, well, I just got to weld that where you know what that weld looks like. And you're like, it's not acceptable for me. I know I can do better. But at the time he was producing a product and I know it was time and it was money. It wasn't my say. End of the day, I just had to do my job as well as I could with what I had to work with, And I said, every little one of those, I just kind of kept in the back of my head, like, well, I'll never do that again. If I ever go on my own, I'm never doing that again. So it just got this profile in my brain of all the shit I do want to do and all the stuff I didn't want to do and the way I wanted to be with the customer and the way I could never be with the customer after seeing these guys fall on their face and, screw people.
We're walking around the shop about the frame rail shop and stuff like that and what the talent that is in that. And they're unsung heroes. We've talked about it a couple of times on this show. They're unsung heroes on purpose because I don't want anybody knowing about those guys, right? those guys are fucking badasses.
Yeah, they are.
Right?
Like, that guy we just saw grinding.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was into it, dude. The mask, the setup, like.
Oh, we even
He's the guy.
I like you, and we were in there for like 30 seconds. I was like, all right, that's enough, right? Y'all are making eye contact, and I don't like that. And so we're getting the fuck out of here.
You're having to sign NDAs and shit when you walked out of there.
Yeah.
I slid a couple lobsters in his pocket. Chris's business card.
We're just gonna steal that fucking dude right at the floor.
Dude, it's a hell of a talent, and like it's crazy the confidence that gives you in shaping thinner gauge metal and what
it's
you
crazy.
can do with like if you're manipulating 10 gauge steel to do what they're doing, you step down like fucking 19 gauges like
It's easy,
paper.
dude. It's so easy. Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. You have been in the frame rail shop,
And he will correct you when you are
Yeah.
wrong.
all right?
also.
I know,
Yeah, 100% of them.
but there's always in the not just automotive in the welding world, right? There's this negative connotation of welding and then grinding it down, right? It's always you can grind it off, but if you're having to grind your own work time after time, does that not make you a better welder because you're the one grinding?
It absolutely does.
Right?
Because you know exactly how to build it up to like the exact tolerance because you really don't want to grind that much. You don't love grinding.
Right. And you don't want to do patchwork. You don't want to come back.
So you learn exactly how to roll that over to each side, get it to penetrate to where it's almost minimal grinding and it makes a perfect corner. But
So if you were not grinding it, that weld would be pretty damn fucking good to leave it like it is.
yeah, I mean, you would
Right.
shape it to, you kind of
Right.
hang in there a little bit longer to get it to stack up, but it's different. But I
Structurally
think-
wise.
Yeah, I think you look at the structural guys and like railing guys and stuff, and it's kind of changed because it's more like a finisher, right? Like some of the stuff they do,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I love watching when they take just a simple like miter cut
Oh.
on 1 by 1, and you watch where they finish that little radius,
Just a little bit. Yeah.
where they intersect, and it's fucking cool. Like I could watch that. It's almost
Got
zen.
lost on YouTube.
It's almost zen like.
Where they like drop the tube in and it just fits. And like, I know this was one fabricator I follow and he's always posting those slow-mo videos where he's doing exhaust or he's doing like a roll cage and he just takes a piece of tube and it's like plop. It's like the last piece of the puzzle and it fits perfect. And I'm like, damn, dude, how many takes did that take you to do that? I totally appreciate the craftsmanship. It's unbelievable. It's wild to see that.
Yeah, but if you saw the behind the scenes,
Yeah,
there's
so
probably
there's-
You don't know the 50 takes it
fucking
took.
20 of them in a
Yes.
scrap.
There's some
man.
craftsmanship in the editing too.
Well, yeah, that's a huge part of it now. Well, nowadays too. So back kind of when I started, there was no social media, no editing, none of this bullshit. You know, I had a flip phone
Take
when I
that
worked
back.
at the
There
Hot
was
Rod
fucking
Show.
MySpace.
There was MySpace, yeah.
But
MySpace.
if you weren't doing music, it didn't matter.
No, we were doing the hey MySpace to your was it MySpace to your place or whatever. Yeah, I had a lot of fun on MySpace.
19,
Man.
you're working at the shop. You're talking about before social media. What year did you graduate high school?
Jeez.
2000? 2001?
01?
01.
Dude, I'm an 01 guy too.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Dude, we're getting old.
You're 40 now?
Well, we'll be this year, yeah. I am,
No,
dude.
that was fucking frosted tips.
Yeah.
And K-Swisses for sure.
Dude, frosted tips. We used to like summers around our house. We'd hang out by the pool. We'd do the dumbest shit. My older brother got us into like, there was this like sun and stuff. Like everybody had bleach blonde hair. You know,
I remember the sun, and I never did it. But
like, Mom, get some sun in on the way home. Try to frost our tips. What? Are you fucking stupid? No, everyone's doing it. We have to do it. And
Flying Ryan, who we were talking about today,
dude, sit out in the sun and
did
frost
sun
your
in?
tips. I was like,
yeah, frosted tips in the sun.
Dave,
Yeah.
how old are you?
I'm 46. So
Okay. So
I'm
you
glad,
still
I'm,
you still pick up.
I'm glad I missed that.
You get
that
the you get
phase.
the tail end of it though.
I'm 45. I get it.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
what a
it was
fu-
like tail end of it.
what a fucking era that
It was cool. Janko jeans, and
Hookah,
we were.
fucking beads, a little
Oh, yeah.
choker necklace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If a chick liked you, she'd make you a cool bracelet or a necklace or something.
Oh, yeah.
Got a box of them, dude.
Damn.
Throw
Yeah,
that shit
the
out.
fucking Jinkos.
I mean, forgive me. I've not done a lot of time up in that neck of the woods, so
Yeah.
I'm overgeneralizing, right? But I try to get a little bit of a feel for genres and stuff. Is that Jersey Shore-ish?
Oh God, no, totally different.
Oh hell
Really?
no.
Okay.
No.
It
Okay.
wasn't slick hair. It wasn't tight shirts.
Okay.
This was more like, you know, at that era in my life, we were, you know, all our friends were playing football in the backyard. We'd be, you know, doing whatever we can with BMX bikes and trying to act like everyone wants to be pro. This is like,
Okay.
this is like before anything was mainstream. Like there was no guys like, I think I was like shit, like 16, and my dad's like, hey, we're going to Providence. There's going to be some X Games thing. I don't know what the hell it is, but it seems cool. I'm going to bring you kids there. Dude, it was the first time X Games ever came to Providence, Rhode Island, which is like 30 minutes from us. And all we see is these guys backflips fucking 30 feet in the air. And I'm like, and that's what kind of kicked off me getting into BMX. I was like, oh my God, dude, this is wild. Like, I got to do that.
And
And
the thing that makes me feel the oldest is like realizing I'm like X Games 49 right now.
Oh,
I'm like, that's how X Games won.
yeah, me too.
we-
Yeah. Yeah.
When
That's
was
wild.
the number one? When and where? Do you remember? Or you came weird.
That'd have been back in what, Haro days?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Haro bikes,
I had a couple Haro bikes.
GTs. Me and him are big into the
GTs.
BMX bikes.
Yeah.
Phil was
Big.
fucking big, and
I spent
dude.
12 hours a day after school
Oh,
in
yeah.
the backyard building jumps and dirt
Yep.
track.
Yeah, we did the same stuff.
Dude, I think about
My
that.
shins are fucked.
Yeah.
Dude, so mine are all bone and they're all
Yeah.
scarred up.
Yeah.
My nephew was looking at my shin over the summer. He's like, what are those lines in the front of your legs? I was like,
That's a bear trap pedal. So.
I was like, dude, we used to sharpen our pedals with a file so that our shoes wouldn't
Primos?
fall off.
Was it Primo
Yeah.
pedals?
And then you had
Profile,
the-
Black Widows.
Yeah.
What were the shin guards you used to rock too?
Because I got tired of busting shins wide open and bleeding.
You wore shin guards?
Yeah. I was
Elbow
doing,
pads too?
No, just the shin guards.
Yeah,
Just the
I did
shin
a lot
guards?
of that, like dirt
Hey,
jump
no,
stuff.
no helmets though.
Yeah, no helmet.
Yeah,
Fuck
fuck
a helmet.
Shit,
Fuck
big.
a helmet.
Like no,
No way.
no shirt and shin guards, no helmet.
No way.
Phil used to go fucking big.
Yeah.
He used to fucking rip on the BMX.
Like freestyle stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all like mostly dirt jump.
Dude, so we had a big dirt jump park near us in a kid's backyard. So after the X Games, like a year afterwards, I used to race BMX, but then I got more into the freestyle after seeing X Games stuff for the first time. And we found the kids in the neighborhood that had the dirt tracks in the backyard. So my dad's like, hey, I'm going to bring you guys down to your friend's place. You said you wanted to check it out or something. He's like, load all the bikes in the trunk. We'll head down there. And we get there and he's like, you're not riding on those fucking jumps, are you? They were like 12-foot jumps, huge berms made out of pallets. I'm like, yeah, dude, this is the place. Just sit down and watch. And we're just going to do our thing. And I think we ended up at a hospital that day. I totally forget, but it was just like a pile of blood in his backseat. Our legs and messed up arms, but it was the coolest thing because we were hanging out with the older guys that were doing the coolest tricks and trying to learn. And
So if you were doing dirt jump, that's no front brake.
No.
yeah, dude, light bikes.
Most
Yeah.
of the time, no rear brake. You just kind of stick your foot in between the back of the frame of the tire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the
slow
toes.
down.
Yeah.
Well, there was
Those
that.
are just cool guy points.
What was the dude? Remember, like they would. I sucked it. I could do a skid, like a nasty skid, probably a quarter mile long. Right.
High speed skids,
See
locking
that,
the brakes up.
see that mountain over there?
I'd go along with them. I didn't do shit, but there was the dude that owned the BMX shop.
Fred.
Yeah, I remember that guy. And there was like back in the forest preserve, you'd like go through this random way and end up in the forest preserve, and then there was this like ripper fucking track, huge dirt jumps. I just sit there and watch. But
Yeah,
They were
we had the like 7th, 8th, 9th grade. Everybody had like the GT Performers and the dynos, and
But we were
Power
still
rows.
riding. We were still riding seats, kind of halfway normal. These
Well, you
ages,
just-
those
I
fucking
was
seat
more
had to
like
be on the
Phil.
tire.
yeah, we were.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
more
you can't
like
have that thing in your
Phil,
way,
Phil,
you
we
know?
were-
No, you
It's all
bring up a little
speed,
bit
dude.
so you can
We
grab
were
your
dirt
knees,
jumps,
do a
but
little
like
no-hander.
freestyle stuff.
Oh, dude,
too,
yeah. The one time I tried one, I was in the hospital after that. It's not good.
That was the era, like right after me, when it was just like, how are y'all riding around with your knees up into your armpits in the fucking?
seat.
It was cool, man.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
did it.
We had a kid in.
Style points.
I grew up in Plymouth, Massachusetts, America's hometown, and Manomet. It's a little village in Plymouth. And when we were in like 7th, 8th, 9th grade, this kid Seth Lawrence had a bike shop out of his basement, and he lived on this little cul-de-sac, and he had a plywood half pipe in the middle of the cul-de-sac. And if you were cruising around freestyling with your boys and someone got a flat tire or you needed a brake pad, pop over Seth's, go down the little bike shop in his basement at his parents' house. That kid's my age. He graduated a year ahead of me, and he owns a bicycle shop now. Like, that's his career.
That's wild.
Pretty
That's cool to turn into
Still
that.
doing it.
The girl that does all your graphic design stuff, her husband's the designer for
SE bikes.
SE bikes.
Yeah, yeah.
that was-
yeah.
Like that was fucking cool as shit. Took down in his basement. You're looking at all the stuff. You're like, oh, there's the there's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the cool shit.
Yeah.
Unreal stuff that guy does.
Yeah, Vinny and Claudia do some amazing work.
You talk. It's sidebar, but you're talking about Providence, and you're talking about Plymouth. You're talking about all these different places, right? And we, in history, these are all prominent places, right? In the history.
Yeah, it's been
Off-
around for a long time.
Off, yeah, right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, off air, right?
Yeah.
We were still on air. Yeah, y'all walk around a little bit like your chest puffed up, like we started all this shit. Like, this is the birthplace of the nation. I feel a little bit of that. You're throwing names out there. It's the Declaration of Independence. I mean, we just did this stuff. Went
General
down-
Custer.
Yeah, I got a Liberty Bell in my backyard. It's not a big deal.
It is funny seeing all the tourists take pictures of Plymouth Rock though when you're down there for dinner or hanging out for drinks and stuff. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a little bit of arrogance.
No,
A little bit of arrogance in the voice
I
there.
I don't think any arrogance, but
Can you
definitely.
imagine if Josh came from there?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Dude, there'd have to be a fucking 12-foot wide overhead door here to get his fucking head in if he came from Rhode Island.
No, yeah, they fucked a lot of shit up there. We
I
tried to correct some things down there in the
I will
south.
say, people from like Boston, Northeast, Massachusetts, New England, we're built a little different.
Yeah.
Dude, what's the place? So I love the history of it. Like, I like old shit, right? And I was just the other day, I'm Googling something, and my son's like infatuated with old shit. There's a bar and
That's
restaurant
why he
from,
likes you.
from
Bring the guy
there's a
with the
bar
gray
and
beard.
restaurant from 1670 in Rhode Island. It's the oldest.
Oh, Newport, yeah. It's like the oldest bar
Yeah.
in the country
Oh,
or
it's
something,
just
right?
fucking cool. I forget. It's like White Horse or something.
Yeah,
All the fishermen used to go there back in the day or something. It was like the oldest
Oldest bar in the
in-
country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Newport. I forget the name of it.
I forget the
I
name of
think
that.
Bill Dance, I think, went there all the time.
Yeah,
With Roland
Wouldn't
Martin.
it? With Bill Dance and Rolling Martin. Talking about fishermen.
oh yeah.
Bill, you don't know Bill Dance?
No, but this like old fishermen, like
Yeah.
guys that used to hunt whales and shit would go to this place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, Google it. It's cool as hell.
What are you gonna do with fucking Belichick gone?
Just
You
get
know,
sleeves on your
hopefully,
Y'all still gonna play football?
yeah. We'll still strap it up, but
White Horse
Yeah,
Tavern.
White Horse Tavern.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Bigger loss with Brady or Belichick going?
Belichick for sure.
I mean, they are both just they're tremendous. I mean, if you're any kind of sports fan, you have to respect.
100%. But Belichick could have gone a few more years. Brady couldn't have gone that many more years,
Yeah,
or wouldn't have gone.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, both. I mean, just have. It's been an unbelievable ride because when I was a kid, all New England sports. I mean, the Bruins sucked. The Bruins didn't suck, but didn't win any championships in the 80s, 90s. The Red Sox, you get the curse of the Bambino. We can't win. Patriots were always terrible when I was a kid. I mean, I remember like as a kid going to the old Sullivan Stadium, you're sitting on the bleachers and they're just you could go to the game for like $4. You know,
It all has to come to an end. Dude, we're going through the same thing. Saban fucking retired, man.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
No more football.
Get retired to a $17 million fucking coastal home.
Yeah, but he's not coaching. Yeah, I didn't say he was retired poor.
College football coach.
Bill and Tom aren't struggling either.
Oh, fucking Tom. I'm telling you what, fuck Tom Brady, right? Fucking super talented and good looking.
Yeah,
I'm telling you what,
Right.
you don't get all the gifts. There's something
He's got
fucked up somewhere.
Dude, he's got to have something fucking weird going on in his life.
There's no possible way. I mean, short of David Beckham, the most beautiful man in the world, there is.
I think that was
This
probably
podcast is going a little different direction. Now.
dude. That was probably an over circumcision.
Took shit.
A little off the top.
Too much.
You think the doctor's like, no, that's what we had to work with.
No, I think he was like, oh shit. Yeah, Mrs. Brady. We had a situation. I mean, like you said, he's got too much good
There's
going.
no
for him.
possible.
Even I know. I'm not a sports fan. I know he's.
I'm telling you, I think it's something. It's not something bad that happened to him. You had to be born with it, because if you're going to be born with those good looks and that much talent,
missing.
God had to be like,
There's an officer.
Yes, that's web toes, or that's something.
Yeah, you're good at swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's another gift.
ain't no chick want to fuck do web toes. I don't care.
I mean, if you make that much money, she'll fuck pretty much anything, dude.
But it really has been like, I mean, from 2001
It's fucking 20 years.
until now.
Yeah.
Patriots, Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins. I mean, they have just all been it's been a fun ride. I live a half hour from the stadium, and it's, season ticket holder for a long time, and it's been fun.
You guys should all get together, go to a sporting event.
Oh, I think I'm a Belichick fan.
Go to sports.
Belichick's a fucking.
Me and Chris will welt some shit.
Yeah, dude. I as much as I love sports, I'm like, yeah, dude. I totally appreciate anybody with skill, and I'll go to any fucking game. But dude, it's tits and
y'all
tires
do.
first for me.
Me and Dave go in. Me and Dave and Phil go in and watch the game. Y'all hang out, do the tailgate thing, and do the fireworks after.
Okay.
Blow some shit up.
Yeah, we'll be doing
That's
donuts
a
in the parking
team-
lot, and you guys.
That's
go,
a team fucking effort.
You guys go watch the Super Bowl. We'll be good to go.
Yeah.
But sports in New England are awesome. I mean, going to tailgate in one of the games. I mean, unbelievable.
You bring fucking lobster like this to a tailgate?
A lot of people do. Yeah.
Dude, that fucking lobster is phenomenal.
I know.
Right?
That's
You're gonna have to
awesome.
fucking roll.
You can't mess with.
That shit right there
You can't
is
mess with
really good.
This is
Main
great.
lobster.
We got any more oysters left in there?
This I
Yeah.
love. There's some down here.
some of that other pants.
Those
Yeah.
are money.
Yeah, real good.
Salty, briny.
Yeah.
Oh, if there's more oysters, I would have kept digging. I didn't know there was more.
Hey, can I grab some of that cocktail sauce?
Yeah.
Just in the lobster.
Dave,
You ever drop this on the oysters?
if I'd have known,
Yeah.
if I'd have known that we would actually have a legit guest of the year, we would have done T-shirts for you guys.
Dude, you got to email.
We'll have to
We're
figure
not
out.
that good. We're not
Yeah.
that good.
I mean, this is. Tell you what, Dave Garfield of Garfield's Liquor Emporium and Beverage Warehouse has really done well for 100 and something episodes. Telling you
New
what.
title sponsor.
I'm telling you what. I'm telling you what. I ain't trying to say nothing. But I'm
This
trying.
episode is brought to you by the Delancey Seafood Tower.
Title sponsor for the Oil and Whiskey podcast.
Hey, what do you look at this?
Broadcasting to all 12 of our listeners.
I was gonna say that gets you at least like 1 to 2 people in your
Dude.
door.
You realize we've got 3 businesses that are title sponsored. We got Chris Cerce Customs. We've got the Lobster Trap. We got fucking hats and shirts, and we got the Trade and Post Lounge.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Dude, I'm telling you what,
That's pretty good.
no joke. That's at least $350,000 worth of sponsorship right there. That's what it would cost on the street
Right.
if you was paying on the street.
But
Right.
because you've got this inside connection,
You bring some fucking lobster.
It costs some lobster, a few oysters, and a couple bottles of bourbon.
Yeah.
And a T-shirt.
Perfect.
That's a
And now you
worthwhile
are a
investment.
title sponsor.
It's a win.
Where were we at?
Belichick.
We're getting started.
We're all over the fucking place.
Yeah, that's fine. That's no big deal. That's what's tonight's going to be. Rogan's got like the Save Our Parks or whatever. This is Lobster Paradise. Like
Perfect.
get after it.
Hey, I talk to people all over the country, and you can be like, "Oh yeah, you want to do this deal? Yeah, cool, we'll do this deal. All right, I can either pay you in gold bars or lobsters. Which would you prefer?" And just send a fucking box of lobsters, man. We'll just take the lobsters.
That's a currency in and of itself.
Yeah.
What's the fuck
That's easy.
the backside of the seafood business? Obviously, you're right there in the heart of it, right? This shit's coming up to your dock.
I will tell you that if I got like like we were talking about earlier, I kind of just got thrown into this career at the Lobster Trap, and I turned it into a career, and I'm 25 years later, I'm still as passionate today as I was about it in the beginning. But if I was ever going to open another restaurant, it probably would not be a seafood restaurant. The stuff is like operating a seafood restaurant from the back end is very difficult.
Is that because of how much old school ways of things are done?
It's the product is more expensive, it's harder to get, and it doesn't taste good the next day. If I have a leftover prime rib, I can make roast beef sandwiches with it the next day. If I have leftover swordfish, I'm just throwing it in the trash. I could pay $13 a pound for tuna on Monday, and by Wednesday be paying $22 a pound for it. There's
Dude,
no.
I've never understood the market price thing. That's got to wreak havoc.
It wreaks havoc, and it's literally
That's just supply and demand. That's how much they brought in.
It's weather driven.
And you can't be changing your prices daily on your menu.
No, there's a lot of restaurants.
It's market price, right? You fucking.
I don't have anything on my. I don't have anything on my menu that's market price.
So you're winning or losing.
I just try to forecast out. Luckily,
you got a body of work that you can.
My business mentor that owns the wholesale company next door to us, he's one of the largest overnight distributors of lobsters in the United States, and sells a ton of other seafood. And I've been able to use his wisdom, his insights to kind of forecast out where things are going to go. And I will set my summer pricing in April or May. And I know that in May, I'm going to pay $120 a gallon for frying clams. And I know that in August, I'm going to pay $185 a gallon for frying clams. So I just kind of try to average it out. And in May and June, customers might be complaining that I'm too expensive. But in August, they're getting a bargain.
Is there benefits that you have being in the industry for as long as you have and the connections that you have that is an advantage over, say, somebody new coming in that's not from the thing? I want to hear about the lobster mafia, right? There's got to be the guys that this has been an industry for a long ass fucking time in that area.
Oh yeah.
So there's got to be the guys that you deal with, and
and my guy Logan he actually just retired this past year. Sold his wholesale company at he's 73 years old. He had 50 something years into it, and he's been doing it so long. He knows every fisherman from New York to Newfoundland. He knows every seafood buyer and all over Europe. He knows guys in China, Japan. He knows everybody in Canada. So I've gotten a lot of insight and wisdom from him, and he's a very well known, very well respected man in the industry.
Is it harder or easier to get your local shit to your place when you're competing against all over the world?
No, but it does drive the price. Definitely drives the price. We want everybody to make a buck along it. We want the fishermen to get paid. We want to get paid.
But you got a restaurant in France or a restaurant in Japan that's willing to pay whatever for fucking Maine lobster, right? And you're like, motherfucker, I see them. They're loading it up. Right.
Yeah. So what Logan does is, or what his company does is, he ships about 14 million pounds of lobsters per year worldwide.
That's
Good
So
size box.
he's got these big he's got the shipping, company in Bourne next to the trap. And then he's got 2 pounds in Maine. He's got a lobster pound in Steuben, Maine, one in Machiasport, Maine. And he doesn't own any boats, but
When
he
you
does.
say lobster pound.
Pound. Yeah, I was going to ask.
So a lobster pound is just like a little inlet.
Like a dog pound.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, hey, so
It's like a
like
you
the
just
fit-
keep everything in there live.
you start stockpiling in the
It's like
summer and fall
Tanks or in like a bay.
in the ocean. So it's like a little inlet on the coast, and they fence it off.
In traps or just out there in the.
Loose.
so they're farming it. It's like a farm.
No, it's not a farm. You're catching lobsters and you're
Just
storing them
dumping
to
them.
sell at a later
Oh,
date.
okay.
Wow.
And
They've
you're
caught
keep-
'em.
and you're keeping them
Chunks.
alive.
Gotcha.
And some of the stuff like he can store
They protect that area.
in Steuben,
obviously.
they can store. They have indoor storage, like you're just putting them in plastic crates, floating them in tanks. He can store about 400,000 pounds, and then he can store like another. It's something stupid like another 700,000-800,000 pounds outside, and it's literally they just fence off a little cove.
It's a lot.
Motherfuckers be eating some lobster.
And when they want to get them out, they send scuba divers in like with vacuums and like vacuum them up, suck them up.
What do they have set up
I
in
wanna watch
Louisville,
that.
Kentucky at the current moment?
What's that?
Oh,
What do
he
they
can-
have set up in Louisville,
He can
Kentucky?
validate this. Here we go. This is fucking
ahead.
Judgment Day.
Get after it.
Judgment Day.
Nothing.
Go ahead. I won't say a
Nothing-
thing.
Nothing that I know of.
Okay, yeah, I would assume nothing.
Yeah. So there's been we gave Josh the win on this because he provided at one point somebody validated it, but Josh believes, and he's convinced us now to go
I don't know
along
if
with
he's
this,
convinced us.
that Louisville, Kentucky has the freshest seafood.
I didn't say the freshest.
very fresh seafood.
Very fresh seafood.
because
They are
it's
able
a
to have very fresh
UPS
seafood.
hub, and they have massive tanks, and they bring in fresh fish from all over the country, and they store it there live.
No, they don't do that.
Oh,
Not that I'm aware of. I've never heard of that.
I would have
It
to
sounds
think.
ridiculous.
I think
doesn't it?
the restaurateur from Louisville that said that yes, that's the case.
You slipped him out
Hey,
of the box.
maybe-
before.
Yeah, sounds like a
maybe-
good sales pitch. I mean,
Maybe there's a live market somewhere in Louisville.
Yeah, the live market. Like, you remember last time you heard live market, right? Fucking COVID. Everybody get half the fucking country died. World died.
Right.
Yeah, live markets are not fucking good, dude. Not a real
Based-
safe.
Based on the
situation.
oysters I had in Louisville, it could have been a live market situation.
Yeah.
I had the most foul, nasty oyster after
Oh,
Josh
really?
was claiming how good it was. Took one bite, ran to the bathroom.
Are you
threw up
telling
on
me
it.
Those little,
right now,
Louisiana warm water
FedEx
oysters.
It's like just, ugh.
has 0 aquatic storage facilities for fresh seafood?
Why would they?
Is that
they're
the-
a freight forwarding company?
Well,
Yeah.
Are,
So
It's like a layover for the
I want to
lobster.
get I want to get your answer
no,
on
when you really start thinking about it, yes, I am telling you that because I'm trying to picture how do they bring that? How do they bring it there and then remove it from its container and place it back in
I didn't realize we were gonna get there.
to
but
its like
looks like-
habitat, to its aquarium?
So they bring a live fish, they dump the live fish in a big tank. Then later they grab said fish.
Why
and
not
ship it
just
out somewhere
freeze the
else.
fish and send it to where it needs to go? I mean, you could ship virtually anything within a day.
Yeah, I feel like that's all got to be next day air. There's no
Dude,
like,
everything,
stop
like-
over and
Hey, this box of lobsters and oysters left the lobster. I cooked these. Well, I didn't cook them.
oh, let's track this box and we'll see if it stopped in Louisville.
Yeah, I think you know what. Come to think of it, all right. So you shipped this stuff. It
Yeah.
detoured probably in Louisville. They took it out of the box. They
No.
put it into their tank. I'm assuming.
Let it swim
right?
around for a little bit.
Yeah.
maybe they're calling that fresh, and it's just off the
Yeah.
truck from Maine.
Get a little refresh on it. You're not finding anything, are you? This
Dude, I'm gonna phone a friend. I've got a contact here. I've got some.
I could call
you call
Logan right
Mixed-
now.
Yeah, my best buddy is.
he's buying fucking fish out of Norway
He
and shit.
farms
you
it
gotta
in
come
Norway.
here.
Hey.
Gotta get here somewhere.
Hey, best buddy.
Second.
I thought he was your best buddy.
It depends on when you ask that question. Some days I
I thought
fucking,
Josh was your best buddy.
some days I don't even consider him a buddy.
Take it back.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Did
two of us.
There isn't even a
That's
quarter of a page of results that you're searching
The
for.
Google is down.
Dude,
I
I
think.
think-
I don't think Google's
it's-
down. I think it's
Happens all the time.
I think Josh is down.
Is it FedEx or UPS?
Oh, that's
Who's-
probably the issue.
No, who's based in Louisville?
That's FedEx.
Is it FedEx?
Yeah.
That was when that was from Castaway, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was flying out
Yeah,
from Louisville in the FedEx.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
So Tom Hanks is responsible for all of this.
Blame him. He's a
You don't
perfect
remember
person to
that
blame.
from
I
Cast-
remember the.
I
Fucking,
blame Wilson.
Yeah.
They got a volleyball factory in Louisville as well.
FedEx seafood storage tanks cost. I think we found the. I think we found the damn
End of the
problem.
internet.
No, it's fucking. This year it's hidden. FedEx don't know.
Oh, yeah.
FedEx doesn't want
It's
nobody
one
to
of
know
the
about it.
country's best kept secrets.
This is
The last thing FedEx wants anybody to know is where they can store.
I'm
their
telling you right
live-
now, I
I think there's
refuse.
going to be a new Indiana Jones movie trying to find it.
There's people listening. There's fans listening right now that are in the area and that are in the know. They might work for fucking FedEx, and if they'll have to remain anonymous, because I get it. I've started seeing, yeah, the FedEx don't want that shit getting out there.
hey.
This will be verified that FedEx stores sea creatures.
in Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes, in tanks.
Wrong.
I think,
You could redeem some of your bets from Barrett Jackson, kind of wipe some stuff off
Yeah.
the table.
that's good for me because that was not a good bet. I didn't end up in a very good position after that bet.
You didn't pay up, so you ended up in
No.
zero position. All right.
All right, moving past that
Yeah.
because you've just been
Doesn't really matter. He's getting it from the
Full of
fucking
shit.
ocean. He doesn't have to store it.
Right.
It's right here in front of us.
So to wrap up the pounds in Maine, like we don't have any boats, but Logan will go into a harbor if there's 50 lobster boats in the harbor. He'll do a co-op with all the fishermen. Hey, if you guys sell all your catch to me this year, at the end of the year, I'll pay you guys all a 50-cent commission per pound, 50 cents per pound commission.
There's not another guy that's trying to outbid
Oh,
him?
there's always other guys, and yep,
It's all about relationship, though. Like you said,
yeah, for sure,
he knows he's taken care of him before. Do it
Yeah.
again. It's fine.
exactly.
Plus, like you said, it's easier on the. I mean, most of the fisher guys, fishermen, they know I just got to go there. He's gonna take everything I got.
Yeah.
Every single time. Fuck. We
Yeah.
just got to worry about like pleasing the customer with fucking hot rod.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little easier than I feel like we have it a lot easier than he does. I mean, you can get a bad batch, you don't even know it, and you got to make up for that. That sucks.
Yeah, our business is like sense of urgency every day. It's all right, like 11 a.m. the door's got to open. You better have your shit prepped, ready to go. Place better be clean.
Like you said, there ain't no hiding. Like seafood is unforgiving.
Yeah,
Yeah, not that people would, like you said, but beef though, you can be like,
hey, a shit hot
Yeah.
rod can be unforgiving too.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I've always said, like, I think like our industry requires working fucking hard, right? And I think there's very few industries that I look at that require more effort, right? The restaurant and bar industry is the one thing I've always looked at that I'm like, oh, dude, we've got it easy. Like this is a piece of cake. I love because that's something I've wanted. I've aspired to do is like have some kind of kitchen bar speakeasy, something like super cool. But I remind myself, I'm like, that is hard fucking work. Like the hours, the sense of urgency. That's got to be. I mean, that's
Everybody wants to
Pleasing
have
people
one.
nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think-
everybody wants to have one.
I think you're right that it is, but at the same time, anything that you're doing to the highest of levels to please the customer and do it the best that you possibly can, no matter the profession, I think requires hard work. At least I want to believe that.
it
I want to
does, but-
believe that it takes. If you're flying my plane, the plane I'm riding on, not my plane,
right.
the plane that I'm
Right, so the
rephrase it.
United
Yes.
Or American
when
Airlines.
when I'm riding in coach.
Spirit Air.
Spirit, right. Yeah, go ahead and keep throwing them. Yeah, the shots. I get it.
The public jet, as Scott would say.
If I'm riding on a plane and somebody's flying it, I want to think that guy is doing his job to the utmost level and putting everything that he has into doing.
You think a fucking pilot's harder than running a restaurant?
I didn't say it's harder. I'm just saying if you're saying it requires hard work.
I'm talking about the effort, the commitment, like the demand, what it requires of you, right? The hours.
Yeah, it's just
hours are different.
There's no
That's lifelong though. It's every
no
day.
secret formula. No secret formula to it. It's just it's working hard. You know, waking up every day, trying your hardest, and like doing the next right thing. That's all you can do.
It's aspiring to be the best.
Yeah.
It is. You don't think fucking Bill Belichick worked some long hours?
Those NFL coaches.
I'm not
Insane.
trying to take away. I'm just trying to say, like, anybody in any profession that achieves to be the absolute best, not be kind of good and not have okay, happy customers, but to be the fucking best, to be the doctor that's on the front of those fucking magazines or that wins those awards or that's done the thing. It doesn't take just working to be good. It takes working your fucking ass off and sacrificing things to be the best. Regardless what it is. For the fucking guy that's working at home trying to build his woodworking business, right, and build furniture. If he wants to be the fucking best and be out there and have his books filled and everybody know about this furniture maker, I guarantee it takes some hard motherfucking work.
Yeah. Yeah, but that motherfucker's also like wearing he's buying like the Russell moccasin boots and he's outfitting himself with like nice trendy clothing and he's taking his time and he might be listening to classical music.
Not all of them.
And he might have to go in the house to watch
Fenn.
Yes, exactly, right? He might have to go in the house to watch the kids while the wife look at a restaurant
he's never going to be the best if he's going and watching the kids. He's not working his ass off.
Look at a restaurant at its peak hour, like a thriving restaurant.
I think to what Jeremy's saying is like when I got a full house and every seat's full,
You can't take a break.
and we got 150 people waiting to be sat. We tell some of the young kids that work with us, and we tell them like everything in this business is sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Like I might ask Josh to go do something for me, or I might fucking tell you to do something right the fuck now for me. It doesn't mean I'm mad at you. It doesn't mean, I got something against you. It's just, we need that one thing done right the fuck now.
Dude, you don't have to tell me. This is a fellow restaurateur. I worked at Fuddruckers and fucking Chick-fil-A.
Oh, so you know exactly what it's like then.
I know what high stress environment
Well,
is.
that's what
You've seen
He
it.
knows the struggle.
You've seen the fucking burger bar at Fuddruckers?
And to Jeremy's point, we tell people like, if you can't handle that type of environment, go get a job at a bookstore because the restaurant business is not for you.
Well, that I think is what I'm getting at. Is like woodworker. A board kicks back out of the table, so it's fucked. Tomorrow he can go to the lumber yard, or he could order something. He could order a new saw blade. It might take 2-3 days to come in. Things in a restaurant, it's the urgency. It's happening right fucking now. You've got
The
people
guest is
sitting there waiting, and it's cutthroat. They're ruthless as far as the reviews go. Like that woodwork, he can call that customer and be like, "Hey, like I ran out of lumber. Guess what? Zebra wood's on national back order. I'm sorry. You're gonna have to give me another 2 weeks until I can get it." The rest of it, like if it's 10 minutes late, if it's a little bit cold, if it's a little bit hot, it seems like that's just me observing. I mean, I don't know what the fuck
100%. I tell, we used to do a lot of, not a lot, but we used to do some catering. I'd cater people's weddings, rehearsal dinners, bridal showers, stuff like that. We've done small stuff. We've done big stuff. I mean, I've done $150,000 backyard weddings for people. And I use this like analogy, like if I'm doing a construction project or, I got some contractors, doing some sub work for me, and they tell me they're going to be there on Monday and they don't show up on Monday. And oh shit, man, we got busy. We'll be there tomorrow. I'll tell them, I'll look at them like, hey, if I was going to cater your daughter's wedding this Saturday, and I called you Saturday morning and was like, shit, dude, it's raining out.
Can she push that wedding?
A couple of guys didn't show up. one of the delivery trucks was late. They're like, we'll be there Monday. Don't worry about it, man. We'll be there Monday. Like, would you be happy? You know, the average person doesn't look at.
It clicks when you throw that analogy out.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, people don't want to go hungry. Miss their plan, disrupted.
On
You
the
said
flip
you can
side-
wait. You can wait on a car to be delivered.
Yeah.
You can
On the
wait on
flip
your
side,
table
when
to be
we have,
delivered.
You know, we will bend over backwards. I will drive to Mundelein, Illinois from Cape Cod to please a guest if we screw something up. But at the same time, you know, when you get the unruly guest, the customer is not always right. When you get
that's what I want to hear.
when you get the person that is just unreasonable and irrational and you know, is making a 21-year-old server feel like a piece of shit.
Yep.
That's when I usually come out of the back.
That's what I'm wanting to hear.
And I just give them the, hey, buddy, you're on vacation with your family. Let me buy you a margarita. We're cooking your dinner. I'm not saving your fucking life. If you can't wait 10 more minutes for us to, you know, recook you your steak that you wanted medium rare and it came out medium, then there's the door.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. We're not the right place for you.
A lot of guys end up going toe to toe with you, like look you up and down. And be like, you know what, motherfucker?
Are you saying you want to go outside? Let's go outside.
No, it doesn't happen too often.
That's always been something that fucking drives me crazy. Like I'll be in a restaurant and I'll listen to people, and so that we're in like the area that we live here. You call like just fucking east of us is the North Shore, right? And the people there are fucking ruthless, right? You go into a restaurant and they demand everything should be exactly the fucking way they want it. And I'll be sitting somewhere and you listen to the way that people talk, like just destroying a server over something. And that's one of those things that drives me nuts, that I've come this close to personally, I have no dog in the fight, to turning around and being like, what the fuck is the matter with you?
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
God damn. I mean, it is, people are,
we don't get
rude
it
with
often.
that.
I mean, I think we do a pretty good job. We aim to please, so please aim. But it does happen, you know, a couple times a year.
Yeah.
Especially in the summertime during like peak tourist season. Sometimes.
Has anybody ever had to be extracted from the restaurant? I mean, you probably see all things like there's people being rude. There's people being like over serving themselves.
I've seen it all. Yeah.
Does a free drink right all wrongs generally?
I mean, win or lose, people always like to booze. So. Yeah. Hey, and like, I don't care. Like, you know, I've had people come in and, I don't like our meal. I'm like, well, don't pay the bill, man. I'm sorry. Sorry you're not happy. I'm sorry I'm sorry we can't make you happy tonight. Like, if you're not happy, just don't pay the bill. I don't care. I don't care about money. Like,
when is it appropriate to send something back? Because I'm the guy, like, we grew up with can we say, does mom listen to this?
When he was saying about that customer, I was like, that's weird. I don't think mom's ever been to Cape Cod.
It's like my mom and her friends, they're like the people that you see them coming and dude, it's look out, right? That's if it's a little bit cold, if the drink has too much ice,
or not enough ice,
or not enough ice, if the salad has too much dressing, not enough dressing, too many croutons. I want croutons. I fucking told you I want croutons. Excuse me. This is not cooked enough. This is cooked too much. It's getting sent back. You better believe if there are 5 people at the table, 4 things are getting sent back, right?
Yeah.
When is it appropriate to send? Because I will eat it unless it is completely not digestible. I'll still eat it.
I'm
It's
still
moving.
I very rarely.
You're gonna
say
eat.
anything.
You're gonna eat again tomorrow. Like
right.
tomorrow's meal might be better.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I very, very. I mean, maybe I can count on one hand how many times I've said stuff, or I'll just eat, pay the bill, still tip, and if it's really bothering me, like I'll call the restaurant the next morning, or I'll show up to the restaurant the next morning if it's like someone I know, or you know, and just be like, hey, just so you know, like I'm only telling you this because if it was, I want to hear, like, everyone can sit there and be like, oh, you guys are so awesome. It's like, I want to hear the shit. I want to hear the stuff we're doing wrong. We're doing wrong because
That's how you get better.
that's the only way we can get better. So I might, grab another restaurant owner or manager and just say, hey, just so you know, I was there last night and this happened. Like, I'm only telling you because if it was my place, I'd want to know. That's all.
So you're saying not to do it. Yeah. Don't.
In general,
do
if I don't know the person, I'll just eat, pay the bill, or not eat. Just yeah, I'm full.
Right,
Yeah, pay
right,
the bill and
right.
just never go back there ever again.
What's the repercussions? Have you seen the movie Waiting? You've seen that?
I don't really watch TV too much. So
It's an older. You haven't seen it?
Yeah, I know where you're going.
Yeah, great fucking movie. But
Kitchen seasoning.
what are the repercussions? Like if you were a fucking asshole,
If you're sending Salisbury steak back, I guarantee you I know where it's going.
and you send your steak back 3 times,
You send it back once.
when it's returned, and I'm not saying your restaurant. Let's use somebody else as an example. Like there's probably some people that don't run as tight of a ship as you do.
right.
The 4th time that steak comes back,
Oh, I know some old school.
How's that thing-
chefs.
how's that thing coming
nowadays? Like, no, people just like, oh, just recook it. Just recook it. But when I was a kid and some guys I was brought up around, it was like, if you were a pain in the ass, like if you, you're sending your bone-in pork chop back because you don't think it's cooked enough, that bitch is going right in the fryer later. There's more than one cooking method.
It's going to be tough though to make everybody happy. Like
Right.
the food that I see, I've been going to Dave's restaurant for a long time, since the day I met him. And like first time I went, I'm like, I can't fucking believe the food is this good.
yeah,
And I tell him that all the time, whether he believes me or not, because he's my friend.
You're getting it for free though. So.
No, dude, I will go into that
Fucking
restaurant.
hot rods ain't free.
it all comes out in the wash.
Dude, I'll go in that restaurant and like if the waitress knows me, I'm like, hey, can you make sure I get a full bill? She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, just if Dave walks by and the bill changes, I want a full bill. Oh, okay. Because I appreciate the quality. The food's awesome.
Yeah.
So I know like it's got to be a struggle though to make everybody happy with the dishes that you guys put out. It's kind of like, it tastes good to you, but might not taste good to him or him.
Yeah. Everybody's got different taste. It's like hot
find a
rods.
different fucking restaurant then.
Yeah,
This
it's
is the
like
way
hot
we
rods.
make it.
Yeah.
So,
And you know it's quality food.
Some guys like tea buckets, some guys like 50s era stuff, some guys want there's some purists, some guys want resto mods. Everybody has different taste buds.
Well, there's like Olive Garden, there's a Bennigan's, there's a Lobster Trap, there's a Rad Rides by Troy, there's
there's everybody else.
There's everybody.
There's everybody else. You want a tea bucket built? You call Jesse Greening.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some of those really poor suspension choices up there.
Up there near us, yeah.
Yeah, up
Dude,
there.
we fought a lot with Subpar from Roadster Shop, and everybody's got a different taste. You can't have filet mignon all the time. Sometimes you got to settle for the Salisbury steak or something.
We just keep buying Roadster Shop chassis, so they're just cookie cutter spec chassis.
Yeah, just cookie cutter.
Job done.
Yeah, easy.
Dude, are
Yeah,
you guys bourbon guys? Should we crack this sucker open?
Yeah, why not try it?
Yeah.
Sure. Gotta drink this
It's
first.
not
I'm
gonna be.
not gonna say no.
It's not gonna be spicy, is it?
It might be. That's been sitting on the fucking shelf for
I
2
actually
seasons.
I tried to get one of those
Did you?
to bring out here. I got a couple connections, but my connections couldn't come through for me.
So we've
No, you
saved
brought the
this.
fucking lobster, dude.
Dude, those
did.
oysters are amazing.
It's even got a little dust on the cap.
What's gonna happen with that dude there? That he's just hanging out. He just
We're gonna
Cut them up.
maybe Jeremy brings it home, or you bring it home tonight, you make an omelet with it tomorrow morning
omelet.
after your workout.
fucking eggs and lobster omelet.
So people must know. Here, look at the text I just get. I didn't even really tell anybody that I was coming. It's kind of funny.
I forgot to tell you we're live.
What does it say?
We're full blown live.
Hey
Instagram
man, this
live.
is Josh. We spoke about the Slam Spec chassis yesterday. Did you get a chance to find any info? I just need a day off. One day. I'm working on it. I'm gonna blame Spun for
You
that.
want
I
ice?
think they want some ice.
I'll try it. Yeah, you better with ice, you think?
No.
No,
All right, I'm gonna try
absolutely
it like that.
not.
All right.
no.
All right, we'll try it.
If you need training wheels, I mean,
No, I'm all up for trying it like this.
I know you want some ice. You can pop some ice in that thing.
Hey, restaurant guy, like I'll eat
you're looking
anything.
legit there.
Hey, I'll eat anything. I'll drink anything. but I'm more of like a wine, vodka, tequila, beer.
You like your wines, don't you?
Yeah, I like the wines.
Didn't you hit the Camus on the road tour? Didn't you
Yeah.
It's good
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
It's probably the first time Camus was drank on the tailgate of a square body truck in the parking lot.
There's been a lot of quality stuff consumed on tailgates.
Lot of good,
Chevys.
lot of good cigars, whiskey, bourbon,
Yeah.
red wine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Hey.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Man. It's awesome. Glad to be here, man. Glad to, I'll say probably like I was around cars a lot when I was a kid, teenager. Just kind of got that bug. When did I meet you? Probably 2012.
Yeah, how did that relationship
Well,
begin?
I'll tell you.
Yeah, you start.
Probably like 2000 and, growing up, working for Mark, he had his twin brother, Kevin. So we worked at these private country clubs and golf clubs. They're closed in the wintertime. And Mark's twin brother, Kevin, has a collision shop, but he also has another shop that he just builds like his personal hot rods in. And he was always building something. And my dad grew up with Mark and Kevin. And like, my dad had the 69 Camaro in high school and out of high school. And, and Mark and Kevin always had hot cars. And when I was in high school and college, like wintertime, the weekends, we'd be up the hot rod shop every weekend. Me and my cousin Walshy, he's been out here to the shop with me before for a road tour. He's into cars too. And it would be, we'd be sanding fenders. It would be back then you couldn't just click on the internet and, order some floor pans or do this or do that, or be like, hey, go up to Ferrara's junkyard. There's a, there's a 67 Biscayne up there, 66 Biscayne up there. Go cut the floorboards out of it for me. And, literally like hammer and chisel, go up there in a friggin' snowstorm and cutting floorboards out and sanding fenders and just doing whatever kind of shit work needed to be done around the shop. And these guys would always build, 1-2 cars a winter. And Kevin built some nice stuff, dude. His 55 pickup truck, his 3740 head.
He's got a ton of cool stuff.
Yeah, he's got a ton of cool stuff. Back in the 90s, he won a couple, he won a Boyd Coddington Award at a Newport National show with a 3740 he had built. And I was just around those guys. And I get out of college, I'm working my butt off. I buy this restaurant, I got no money. Starting a family. And I think it was probably about 2010, I think 2009, 2010. I bought a 65 Chevy Bel Air, had a 396 and a 4-speed in it, and start cruising around Facebook, see this company, Roadster Shop. I'm like, who the fuck are these guys?
Damn.
Oh, dude, it looks like they're building some cool shit. And I think it might have been around that time, maybe 2010, 2012. I think you guys did maybe it was like a 67 Chevelle or something.
66, the real subtle orange one.
Yeah, that one. And so I buy this car, and I did the whole thing ass backwards. When I was in high school and college, I helped Mark and Kevin build this 66 Bel Air. And they did it black with a red gut, 502 crate motor, turbo 400, narrowed rear end, the whole torque thrust wheels, like just classic muscle car. And Mark sold it to a guy, Jerry Cruz in Florida. And Jerry sent it to Troy Trepagna. And Troy redid the whole car, turned it into, I think he called it the Hurricane.
Yeah,
That 66 Biscayne there.
I thought that was for a ball player, wasn't it?
No, Jerry Cruz. This guy, Jerry Cruz, owned it.
All player was the Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Yeah.
Right.
Manny
Ramirez.
Yeah.
So I buy this 65 Bel Air, and it's black. And the first thing I do is do the interior over, red. And then I'm like, I think Troy put like a 540 in it with a Tremec TKO 600 in it when he built it.
Yeah.
I started calling. I called Rad Rides one day. Like, I don't know shit.
Who answered?
Jack, when he was still alive. And, dude, I told him, like, hey, when I was in high school and college, I helped build that, you know, the original version of the Hurricane. Well, dude, he sat on the phone with me for an hour.
No shit.
It was unbelievable. He's like, yeah, I think we still got the interior for that thing sitting up in the loft and this, that, and the other thing. And asking him, like, hey, who did the transmission for you? He told me who did the transmission. I'm calling up the next day, ordering a TKO 600, perfect fit for my 66 Bel Air.
How's that second gear shift working out for you? That one too.
I had to replace the synchros a couple times on that one.
Under 3,000 RPM. It's butter.
Yeah.
If you push the clutch in, count to 3, let the RPMs die, let it fall into second, you're good.
It's kind of like rev matching.
I ended up like in my driveway at home. You know, nobody made shit for those big B-body cars back then. This is like 2010. Global West made a suspension kit for it. I bought a Global West suspension kit, QA1 shocks, did it at home by myself in the driveway. And then I'm like, now I'm starting to save some money. I can put a little money into this car. I'm like, I can't do a, 540 ZL1 block like Troy did, but I can buy a 572 crate motor. And a buddy of mine helped me put it in. We put the transmission in. Jimmy Bishop helped me do that. We get the motor in, and it had a tall that 572's got a tall intake on it, and the factory hood wouldn't close.
You just slam it hard enough, you can get it to kind of.
So I started looking around. I don't want to buy a fiberglass cowl hood. So I start just like hunting around. I think Chris used to have like a Dodge Ram. Did you have a Dodge Ram?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big Cummins with the letters on it.
Big Cummins. You had Chris Cerce Customs written splattered across the. So I kept seeing his truck around town. His shop's about 20 minutes from my house. Then I was on Craigslist looking for stuff, and someone had a Chevelle for sale. And it was like all fabrication and body work done by Chris Cerce Customs. I'm like, who the fuck is this Chris Cerce Customs? Who the fuck is this kid?
With his frosted tips and
Yeah.
And the Jankos. I still have the Jankos then.
You're still rocking the Jenkos at this time.
Dude, they're back and they're back. People are wearing them.
I've been waiting for that.
Dude, they're back. Pull them out of the closet, man.
Was that
I
shell
think
toes?
it's now, next week.
Some Adidas shell toes?
Yeah,
with that?
Adidas. Yeah, or Vans. You know, we big into the Vans.
So I call Chris. I call him up, and I tell him what I got. And I say, hey, can you make me a steel cowl hood for the 65 Bel Air? And he goes, oh, fuck, yeah, I can fucking do that. I'll get a 69 Camaro hood. I'll get an Impala hood. We'll graft them together. Yeah, I can fucking do that. I'll bang it right out for you.
Yep.
And he made me that hood. And Kevin Conley, Mark's brother, always wicked picky. Every time I ever showed him anything, fucking piece of shit.
Oh, wicked
Fucking
critical,
piece of
dude.
shit. Wicked critical.
Yeah.
And
Where y'all from?
Big.
Google it. You'll figure it out.
Somebody.
so
Google it.
So I show Kevin the hood when it's done, and he's like, man, that is fucking sharp. And I ended up telling Chris, like, hey, just go through the whole car, strip it of bare metal. So now it's got an interior done, it's got a drivetrain in it.
Yeah, he's like, be careful, my interior just had it done. And I'm looking at it like, man, I ain't gonna tell you. But he's like, I painted that shit myself. What do you think? I was like, looks great. Dude's fucking awesome. The big dude standing over you. You're not gonna tell him his work sucked. Not that it did. Honestly, that when you sold that car, it was all the same material that when you had first done it, it looked
Yeah,
good.
yeah. But that's how I got hooked up with Chris, man, and it's been an easy ride ever since. And I was always like, he did that car for me, and then
You wanted to bring it to the World of Wheels. He's like, I want to bring this thing to the World of Wheels. He's like, what do you think about the car show? And at the time, I was like, even still, like, I'm so busy that the car shows are tough to get to. We go to the small ones, but I was like, I don't know, man. Car show's really not my thing, but if you want to do it, yeah, let's do it. So he's like, what else can we do to this thing? I'm like, let's tuck the bumpers. Let's fucking make a bunch of shit for it. And sharpen the lines in this car because all your body lines are terrible. And I think we tossed quarters on it, had the whole thing stripped. Did a ton of work to that thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I want it black. I want it really nice black. I'm like, all right. So
back then he was only painting cars black.
Yeah, dude. You walk in the shop, everything was black. Like the hot rod shop that I grew up in, every fucking car, and it was black.
Bobby Alloway fan, huh?
Yeah, big time. Dude, it was like
red interior. I mean,
the dude that I worked with that was building hot rods was building hot rods when Bobby Ella was just a thought. You know what I mean? Like this guy. I mean, if he was alive now, he'd be like 95. He'd build hot rods for a long time. But everything in the shop was black. And I had asked him one day. He's like, "I got a deal on black paint." Ha ha ha. I'm like, huh? And he had like a fucking 5-gallon drum of like this shit.
base coat.
Yeah, I'm like, it was single stage. Everything was single stage.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with black hot rods, and I had started building my 32. That thing was all black. Used to bring it to shows, but the black that when we were looking for a black for Dave's car, I was like, we just got to do something nasty. And I had every single paint manufacturer. I bought all their black base coats. They could tint something to the nines to try to make it darker. The blackest I ever found was I think it was House of Color BC25. And when I had called House of Color's tech line to ask them why their black was blacker than everybody else's, she's like, "Oh, it's the way we grind the pigment. We grind it like a triple fine opposed to everybody else. That's why when you put light on it, there's no gray." I was like, huh. So we every single test in the book, and man, it was the darkest black I've ever seen. So we put it on the car, and it wasn't like, I mean, it was a nice paint job. That looked really good.
No, that was a great car.
Good body work on it too. The thing had minimal body work because after we redid all the metal. But Dave wanted to bring it to World of Wheels. He's like, "It looks so good. It's World of Wheels worthy." I'm like, "You think?" So we get into the World of Wheels, but near us at that time, it was kind of a big deal. And they stuck us in the corner, like behind some Camaro with a wide body kit. You could only see one side of the car.
Yeah.
We're like at the back corner.
Is that the good side?
Yeah.
It was a good side where the door didn't sag. No, it was all good. And we were like ready to pack the car up, and we won a Best of Paint award. I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Yeah.
But like nobody even,
paint.
not many people walked by the car. So,
that's
we'd
awesome.
never been to a show, so we didn't know to put it in a good spot or anything, or how to even do that. It was kind of cool.
Dude, you know what's the craziest fucking black paint? That Kindig. You see that Kindig Challenger that he did for Kevin Hart?
Yes.
The fucking black, and it's one of Dave's colors. It's a Sickens color, right?
Super jet black.
It is like
what it's
crazy.
called? He had
It's
some good name for it.
crazy. I've never seen anything
It's a good
so.
name. It should be called.
That
never
was at
s-
SEMA.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
I've never
that
seen
was-
anything so fucking black. It's a cool color.
And then to lead into you guys, I'll say and I think Chris will hopefully say the same about me. We hooked up probably about 2011, and it's been an easy ride ever since. I mean, I have not had a car in his shop since 2011.
That was
Dude, it's been
we
constant,
Met,
yeah.
What,
And-
late 18, 19, something like
I
that.
think probably back to Roadster Shop, I was always like, then I started seeing like shit on Facebook about you guys and chassis, and I started talking to him like, man, I just want to drive my shit. Like I want to drive my cars all the time. I want performance, handling, stopping power.
That was the first chassis we ever bought was for your red truck.
And then there's the more I looked in, I just probably back as far as 2011, 2012. I'm like, I want to fucking get a car.
The red truck then was what, late 17, early
It was
18?
2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was the first RS chassis.
I remember meeting y'all. We all met y'all when you came down for the Impala.
Yep.
And that was, y'all took advantage of our custom chassis program. That way, you can come down, the builder, the customer, we go through the whole deal. It's a bespoke chassis for you. And that, to piggyback off what you were saying, that was our takeaway, my takeaway for sure, was the relationship where it's like, oh, this going to be a badass car because the customer and the builder, they just got that relationship, right? We've talked about it on this show 100 fucking times. On, how you talked about earlier that if the chef in the back's pissed off, right, the customers can taste it.
Yeah.
If that relationship between the customer and the builder is not there, right? Everybody you see that car, you can see it.
Yep.
Right.
You 100%
It's important.
see it.
It's important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, like here, I think Phil Smut, a.k.a. Other Phil,
Yeah.
was probably the
Still
Gorgeous
watching
Phil.
No,
Yeah,
I'm telling
gorgeous.
you what, that hair,
horrible decision.
that haircut had knocked him down a couple of nights.
Yeah.
You see how much gray he's got coming into?
Dude, it's coming hard.
I know. I would have left that
Hey.
fucking hair long.
I'm gray and bald. So.
I sent him Vagisil one time after a comment that he made, so I'm going to send him some Just for Men gel next time when I come home.
But just, and I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass, but as a businessman and a person that was taught to like hey, wake up every day, try your hardest, do the right thing, and maintain business relationships. Like, it's been an easy ride with you guys too, and you guys have always stood behind your product. The product delivers, and I know if we have a question or something comes up, I can pick up the phone and call one of these two guys, call Phil Smart, call you, and it's just I can't say enough good things.
It's easy.
It's easy.
I mean,
at the end of the day, it's a hobby, you know.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be on, like you talk about customer service and stuff. It should be easy on the
You should
on the
want
shop,
to
the
do it.
customer. Yeah, it
right,
should be
right.
the thing where the person you're paying the money does all the hard work, right?
Right,
And
right.
It is a fun and easy experience on you.
Yeah,
It should be. It should be like a kid going to an arcade spending his money with a smile. You know, you walk in and it's like, you know, you can walk in any cool hot rod shop and see fun stuff going on. If you're a car guy, you appreciate it, you know, and should be happy about spending your money on it. You know, I have even smaller local shops near me where I spend money on my personal builds because I don't have enough time to work on it. I'm excited about all the shit that goes on there. It should be seamless. It should be real fun.
Yeah.
But
You know?
it's also a better product. Back to what we were talking about is because y'all's relationship is there, right? And any other shop and any other customer, I hope y'all are listening because y'all are on the same wavelength. You've got a kind of a vision and a plan and a thought process going into it. When y'all came down here to do the custom chassis deal, we were going to scan the car. We'd already scanned it. We went through with ride height. You already had the kind of the ideas in your head. So that process is seamless. Can't tell you how many times we get into it with either a customer we're going to build something with or a chassis thing where that process either from the customer side or the shop side or a combination of both isn't locked down, right? And it makes it more difficult on everybody. The people, us building it, the customer, and then the shop, because it's kind of like, well, I don't know on the transmission. I'm thinking of maybe a 5-speed, maybe a 6-speed, maybe thinking about transaxle, maybe an automatic. Well,
So a
That's a lot,
transmission
dude.
of some
that
sort.
changes, right?
That's a TBD.
Yeah, and on the rear
Irvin sells a
tires,
shit ton of TBDs.
I'm thinking like in the 18 to 22 inch range, you know, and anywhere in the 275 to, but I could go up to 345.
Definitely round.
Well, you're just naming, you're naming all the things, right?
Yeah, what do you really want?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
It is tough to hone in with people too. Some guys like Dave know it. He fucking knows what he wants before he walks in the door.
I will
that's
say
real.
too.
It's
I will
also-
say too that like every build's different. Like when we did the red truck, that was the first time when I was like, "Hey, dude, you're a young guy. He's younger than I am. Like Northeast doesn't really get a lot of recognition for being great hot rod builders." And I was like, "You're a great craftsman. You deserve like the best of the best. Like, hey, go wild. Like, I want Roadster Shop chassis. I want, big motor, nice interior, like all the things." And then there's other times where like, hey, I found this 77 square body that's like really clean. There's like,
I just want to do donuts.
yeah, I
bang
just
it
want to do
Let's
donuts.
bang it
Like,
out.
Burn
don't
the
paint
tires
it
off.
like
Yeah.
like less is more. And then there's other times, like I'll be honest with you, like I had an idea in my head for this 62 bubble top that Chris is building for me now. And shit, we bought a motor for it 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2 years
Oh yeah,
ago.
already had so many things decided for this car.
We've had all kinds of stuff decided, but also too, like Phil and I were talking earlier about how the last few years has just been like head down, grinding, focus on work. Like I haven't even thought about that car really for the last year and a half. Chris will call me and stuff and be like, "Whatever you think, bro. Whatever you think, man. I know it'll be good."
Well, it's good to have
I know it'll be good.
That you trust
And,
where he's going with it.
but now I'm like starting to have a little more free time for myself, and I've been able to get up to the shop a little more.
yeah,
And
and his opinion's valued, huge. Everybody wants to know what Dave thinks.
him and
you know?
I can sit down and be like, "Yeah, I like that line. I don't like that line. I don't think we need to spend the money here. Yeah, I want to spend the money here."
And you've been good with the suicide doors from the start.
Totally, dude. Totally.
well, no
He
one's
wants
ever
Kurt-
no,
Kurt
no one's,
Lambo.
Lambo doors.
no one's ever donked out a 62 bubble top.
Fucking
So
get after it. Dude,
Hey, you know,
I'm telling you what, you and a donk.
let's make a splash in the industry. Get some 26s for that fucking thing, dude.
Dude, the Donk Master is coming on the podcast in a couple
Oh,
weeks.
really? That's cool.
Sage,
Yeah.
the donk master.
Donks are getting hot.
They've been hot for a little while now.
yeah.
But they're getting, you know what I've noticed about the donk scene is you see these guys down south that are building some badass shit. They're drag racing them. They have, I don't know what the fuck, just smash into their friends with the curb feels and the tires. They're doing a lot of weird shit.
That's Houston.
That's Houston? Okay. But I noticed that the
wheels.
quality is getting better.
Yes.
And some of these builds, I'm like, whoa. And now they're starting to call, like, I got like 4 calls in a month for donks.
Hey, dude, we're gonna do a podcast about this. You're gonna have to listen.
All right, I can't wait
You're
to
gonna
hear.
have to listen till we get into all this stuff.
But I got a call and I was asking him about the chassis. I'm like, dude, he said, well, you got to run this, you got to run that, because so the donks with fucking 1,200 horse don't twist and they can turn the wheels. And I want to give this guy a good product. And I'm trying to explain to him the difference of the cars that he's showing me that his friends have built, where they just thrown an LS in. They've cut the wheel tubs out to put 26s. And I'm like, listen, dude, if we start from square one and build you something badass, you'll have the nastiest one in the South. Like, you don't really see them built with a nasty chassis. It's all mostly bolt-on stuff.
It's like anything else. I mean, it's evolved. It's become a thing, and now it's getting better and better and better. Like,
Yeah,
think
let's
about,
make it better.
think about like drag cars, so like a pro street car. Like years ago, people
a
were
back
looking at. They're
half.
like, oh, you're gonna fucking take that and put a huge tire in the back, and you just like guys would just be cutting the shit out of everything that's in their
Like
way.
a Vega.
Yep.
You
Cut it
just
out.
stuff a tire
Cheap aluminum sheet metal and run
in
that
it,
thing.
right? It's the same scenario. But I mean, now they're coming out with like I feel like I've seen drag radials for like 24s, 26s.
They
I
do
mean,
a
it's-
26-inch drag radial.
Yeah.
Dude, it's impressive how fast
Josh
these
is
cars are.
Studied
Yeah.
up.
They don't do a 28 yet. They're trying to get a full-blown slick made. Hey, listen, we're getting into the next episode, right? We got all kinds of stuff to talk about.
Stick
on
to
the
the
next episode.
stick to the script.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You were at the kind of very beginning stages of the whole Survivor kind of build with the ice cream cruiser, right?
Yeah. I mean, I started seeing some stuff that you guys were doing at your first couple Survivor series that you built, and I started looking around right away. Like, man, I've always wanted to do a 66 Impala. I think it took me about a solid year to find a clean 66.
There was every other week sending me, hey, what do you think about this one? And then you found the one.
Yeah, and it ended up being in Massachusetts. I grabbed his trailer one day, drove like 2.5 hours out to Western Mass, and I brought like a floor jack, a flashlight, like a screwdriver, and a couple tools with me, and went to some little like hole-in-the-wall mom-and-pop car dealer, and the dude had this 66 Impala, the ice cream cruiser, sitting there, still had like desert dirt on it, and like he got it from California. It's a California original car.
Dude, no rot on this thing at all.
No rod. Someone replaced the carpet and glued it down.
It like rusted a
And
little bit.
I like asked the guy, like, hey, do you mind if I take the sill plates off and just lift up the carpet? And I go to lift the carpet up and it's all glued down. But I could see it still had like the factory seam sealer in it. And, the underside was super clean and, a little bit of negotiating. And I think the guy had it listed for like 25 grand. And I was like, hey man, like this isn't a 70 Chevelle or a 69 Camaro. This isn't really like a high demand car. Like, I'll give you 18,000 cash for it right now or something. And we ended up making. He didn't want to make the deal, and then I was like, all right, man.
See you later.
And he was like, well. And I got it home, and I started. I think we sent it to you first.
Yeah.
You guys scanned it, and then I got it home, and Chris came down and.
Yeah, at the trap, right next to the
I
restaurant.
got a
there's
little
garage.
shop next to the restaurant where I do the dirty work and
Tearing it down.
Scraped all
I
the
started
undercoat.
tearing it down, and we're like, there was not one speck of rot on that car.
It was
That's
so
where
clean.
the steak goes when the guy sends it back just into that shop.
Yeah.
Out on the grill.
Yeah, fast forward to, we did the custom chassis. Y'all built a badass car. We saw it pretty much debut on the road tour, and that's where we really got to kind of hang out and build that friendship.
Yeah.
That was
That was
Yeah,
a hell of a good
Dude, that was a cool tour.
epic
hell of a good
That was
Great
that 2020 road tour.
Yeah.
Man, I wish we could just bottle that up and
Dude.
take a sip of it whenever
Yeah.
we wanted
I
to.
know it.
because-
Yeah.
The timing of it, you're like right in the middle of fucking COVID, right?
Yeah, it was. It
And
was
it's like-
October of
yeah.
2020.
The world's fucked, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else is going on. And that was like the ultimate escape, like back to reality.
Yeah.
That was so surreal.
And there was, I think, 50 cars on that tour. You guys had like 8 or 9 out of your that were, it was like my car, Saxon
We started in
Chevelle.
Atlanta.
Yep. Garfield's 55, Barry's 63, the beta version of the Legend truck.
Yeah.
Scott's Camaro.
Scott's Camaro.
George had a couple cars on
Yeah,
there.
George had a couple cars.
Where did we leave out?
That was awesome too. Like,
We
hey,
started in
where?
Atlanta,
Where the like? What was the?
right outside the Motor Speedway.
we started at Summit Racing headquarters.
Yeah.
Right.
Then we went to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Then we
Yeah.
went to Michelin Road to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Then we went to Bobby Johnson's.
Yeah.
That was a weird one because we started in Atlanta and we went up to Charlotte and they were like, fuck it. Let's go all the way back down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's
that
go all
was
the way back down
that
to
was the
Florida.
tour.
Yeah.
That was I forgot that was the one that we did the filming. We did the
Yeah.
road
Yeah.
tour
That was
series.
Oh, you guys had Ironclad hanging out of that
Yeah.
camper.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
and that was just the middle of COVID. You couldn't find a police officer if you tried to. I mean, we were.
Right.
We tried.
We tried real hard. I mean,
Well, it's hard when you're following all the laws, when you're abiding by the speed limits and stuff. You're not going to see a lot of that.
Statute of limitations.
wearing our seatbelts, Phil.
Yeah. Fucking A, do people get pissed about that?
Yeah.
My God.
You need to start wearing your seatbelt.
We just got some hate mail.
I have.
hate mail?
Yeah, I have.
No, I
been.
want to hear about it.
I have been just for the sake of keeping the comments clear. I'm just not a seatbelt.
No,
guy.
fuck this. You want to start me on a fucking tangent?
No.
Fucking the seatbelt thing. That's the
Dude, I grew up.
stupidest
Listen,
fucking
I
thing.
I grew up not wearing a helmet, riding a fucking bike. Like, look at a fucking kid riding his bike wearing a helmet today. It looks like a bit. He looks like a pussy.
Dude, it's so terrible. Yeah.
It looks terrible,
We didn't do it either.
right?
We're okay, yeah.
There is-
Bump your head a few times.
If there is no reason to make a law to me to protect myself, all you're doing is telling me I'm too stupid to make my own choices.
I make my own choices. When I get in the Grand National, I put my fucking seatbelt on. It's a fast car, right? It can hurt you. It's dangerous.
But it's your decision.
Yeah, you get in a fucking square body pickup truck. Like, dude, if it's my time, it's my time, right? If something happens
out
that's
with
out
the
of
I
my
don't
control,
have any problem. I don't have any problem with anybody wearing their seatbelt or not wearing their seatbelt. But don't tell me I've got. This is the same. This is coming from the
guy
same-
that smokes Newport fucking menthols, right?
Yeah, but
Hey, nobody's going to tell you not to do that. That's like about your well-being, your safety.
oh, they do that too. They try to tell people to stop smoking, but it's coming from the. I'm telling you, go down. This is my biggest pet peeve. This is coming from the same people that are saying "my body, my choice," right?
100%.
I can make whatever decision I want to with my body, my choice.
But your body.
But you better wear a seatbelt. Fuck you, bitch. If I don't want to wear one, I don't have to wear one.
I feel like we struck a nerve.
This is the start
They
of the
struck-
generation following when
they're
they started
talking
saying,
about me, though. They're pointing this hate mail at me.
no, I'm just saying in general, the seatbelt laws.
Hey, you know what the beauty of it is, though?
I don't care about the hate mail. You
Phil's
should get more
Phil's
hate
got
mail.
to deflect it.
Yeah.
Just the general rule of having to.
Yeah.
Name the time that somebody has wrecked a car, not wore their seatbelt,
And their body
flew
killed
through
somebody
the
else.
windshield and killed somebody else. It doesn't happen.
Right.
It's completely your choice. It might be a stupid choice if you're doing something stupid, but it's still your choice.
I'm not disagreeing with
Right.
it.
Yeah,
I
I've
want to
never
hear the
s-
hate mail though.
It was just, hey, stupid, you're dumb for not wearing your seatbelt.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah.
It was aggressive. It
Called him a dummy, stupid, like real aggressive. Ooh.
Dummy and stupid.
said a lot of hurtful things.
Should reply with that. Your feelings have been hurt.
It's
say
not
those
a
derogatory
great
words.
example, and you're not
Right.
getting in there and saying I'm setting an example. For
I'm
everything,
not.
'cause I'm making a personal choice.
I'm not an example for a lot of things. Like I'm just like I'm not.
Valid.
Yeah.
He's like Charles Barkley, basically. I'm not your role model.
Right.
I would say give me something you're an example for.
Yeah, I don't know.
So the list is all right. I got you. Anyway, yeah, couldn't find any
Off on a
cops on the road tour. Yeah.
Dude, those back roads, like 120 over those hills. I'm like, dude, what the fuck's on the other side of that
No.
road? Dave's like, I don't know. Just keep going straight. Figure it out. That was cool because it was like the first time that was like a shakedown of that car. We drove it.
Yeah.
Hey, that car, Chris finished it, 300 test miles on it, blew the transmission.
Oh, I was driving it. I'm like, Dave, this
Yanked
thing
it
runs
out.
awesome. He's like, put more miles on. We need more miles. I'm like, I know. I'm racking up as many as I can. Dude, I fucking wasted a set of tires in this thing trying to hurt the car. And I don't know if I got out of the throttle and the tires are spinning, but I got back in it. Now this thing is supposed to be built for like 1,000 horse, can't break it no matter what.
4L60, 4L80.
480. And I mean, dude, I was like half throttle and the thing just snapped the input shaft. And I'm like, man, that fucking sucks. I was like, I did it, you know, so my fault, whatever, I'll take care of it. But the transmission should not have broke. So we bought it from a place that built transmissions, who will remain nameless. And we bring it to my transmission guy that fixes everything for us, Accurate Transmissions out of Connecticut. This guy, none of his shit breaks. If his shit breaks, you did something wrong, not this dude. He looks at the transmission, calls me, he says, you got a stock input shaft that's rusty. He's like, where did you get this transmission from? I was like, we bought it built. It should have been killer. He's like, well, there's a lot of stock components. The clutches are smoked. There's a lot of bad shit. He's like, I'll fix it properly and you guys won't have an issue. I guarantee it. And if anything ever happens, it's free to fix. Dude, I don't know how many miles you get in that car now.
10,000. But the point is, Chris yanked the tranny. I drove it 2.5 hours to Connecticut.
We slapped it in like 2 days before.
Anthony
the
turned it
tour.
around in like 3 days. I went back down, picked it up. Chris slapped it in. We put like 25 more test miles on it and shipped it to Atlanta.
And then hit the tail of the dragon.
Tail the dragon.
Then hit tail.
Rip
Then
it.
hit Atlanta Motor Speedway,
car
Michelin Road
ripped.
to Atlanta, and tail of the dragon.
Yeah, perfect.
ripped
Perfect place to
flawlessly.
break a car in. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Tail the Dragon was cool.
So I've driven that car 10,000 miles through 17 states so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've done 3 road tours with it.
That's like Old Faithful. Then that's
Yeah.
the go-to for.
Yeah.
This thing hammers.
Car's awesome.
Does burnouts as long as you can keep your foot in it.
Burnouts as long as you can keep your foot in it. You can cruise down the highway at 100, one finger on the wheel for a big car like that.
And that's LSA.
John Hardy LSA, yeah.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
850
the-
horse.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
850, 840, something like that.
The DOT like cut you, or not the DOT, I guess it'd be like the streets and sanitation, cut you a check for paving everything in front of the Lobster Trap. It's just burnout central. They don't even need to come
Dude.
near that.
You do a couple burnouts out front there.
Hey, one of the first test drives I did in that car, I was like, hey, I'm coming down the trap. It was I don't know, it was some kind
There's
of
no hood on it.
no hood.
Yeah,
Sometime in the
no
summer. We were
hood.
like painting the bottom of the hood. I forget what it was. And Dave's like, call me when you're 5 minutes away. We're gonna come outside. I'm gonna get the cameras ready. And like this is like a busy, like there's like families sitting out there like waiting for their food. And I stroll up, this thing's chopping, blup, 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 and I get up to the bridge and I see Dave and his brother like this, like waving, and they get the cameras out and the thumbs up. And he's like, hit it. And I just do a burnout over the bridge, dude. And like, like I said, there's kids out there that are frightened. They're like looking over, like, what the hell is that? Dad's in his little polo with his cocktail, and we're blowing the fucking tires apart, like coming towards Dave, making videos of this thing.
There's at least one Yelp review about that.
Oh, absolutely.
Just degenerates
Well,
down
and,
the street.
and as the years have progressed, a lot of my customers have become Chris's customers.
Oh, super
And in
fortunate for
return,
that.
they all drive their hot rods to the Lobster Trap, and they all think
That's
they gotta.
cool.
They all gotta lay down a couple 100 feet of rubber when they leave.
Dude, you got to pay the piper. You go to the trap with something that can burn tires, you better burn tires.
Yeah.
You get a Lobster Trap cruise in, a little cruise night.
We haven't done one yet.
No, and I guess we could, but it's like, dude, his place in the summer, like you do this, it's
You
unbelievable
don't
how
need any
packed
more
it is.
business.
Yeah.
Every night of the week.
These guys have been there in the summer, and it's
Awesome, man.
Fucking packed.
Oh,
busy.
dude. Unreal.
You got to know somebody to get in.
Oh.
Luckily,
Dude, is there going to be a tour? Can we get a
we're,
road tour?
we're waiting
chatting
for you
about
guys
that.
to put one together.
So, spring or summer, there's going to be load of legend trucks on the road, and we've got to get something together.
Spring would be better for me, and
Spring or fall. Or something.
I know, like, dude, Saxon's ready to rip. I know Garfield would go. You know,
we could probably easily round up 20, 30 guys.
absolutely. And I've done a couple tours with, Jesse Greening, Troy, over at BBT.
Who's the Jesse Greening guy?
The T-Bucket builder.
Oh,
the T-Bucket builder? Yeah.
He builds T-Buckets and Mavericks. Pretty
right.
niche little
Yeah.
foothold
T-Bucket.
he has.
Think about Jesse, like really, T-Bucket, Maverick, IROC, Camaro. Like, if you just told somebody that, you'd be like,
He's from
Well-
Coleman.
and then you're like, hey, he's from down in Alabama.
That's awesome.
You're a big IROC guy.
No, but it's,
Dude, I love the
Yeah.
IROCs.
Yeah, I
You
like,
get
I
a pretty
like a
nasty
freaking
IROC.
IROC.
I got a silly IROC, yeah.
Yeah.
We I bought that thing as a project with one of my best friends, and he's like, he calls me one day and like, I didn't need another car. I had 10 at the time, and he's like, hey, I found a smoking
How many
deal.
were running at the time, though, of those 10?
Maybe like 3, I think. I don't know. Dude, I got like that. I'm like that guy with the junkyard backyard. Like my shit's loaded.
you said IROC.
I like
We're-
build
yeah,
more
we're on the
fences.
same
You get
page.
it. You know what I mean? Build fences to hide them all. Calls me. He's like, dude, I got to kill a deal on this IROC. The kid wants to sell it for like $3,000. He put an outlet. He had the whole drivetrain out of an 02 Camaro, and he put it in this car and he slapped a turbo on it. I was like, yeah, killer, $3,000. Let's get it. He's like, the motor's smoking a little bit, but the car's got a lot of potential. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's buy it together. He's like, me and you can just build it as a project. He got busy with kids and a family. I'm like, listen, dude, I'm going to take this thing over. You can drive it whenever the hell you want, but I'm just going to build the thing. So I ended up just smoking the fucking motor in front of my shop, trying to, I don't know, see what it had, right? I called Don Hardy. He built a 6.2 for it, slapped a nice billet turbo on this thing, and it ran good for like a year. And I'm like, oh, this thing's awesome. It's time to crank it up. I think we did it was Chuck Vranis from, I think it was Modern Rotting he was working with at the time. He's like, listen, IROCs are hot. Let's do an article on this thing. I'm like, well, I'm not ready to spend money on this thing yet. He's like, well, we'll work a deal on some parts. We'll figure some stuff out. And a month later, I get pallets of shit delivered to my
I
shop.
remember seeing the articles.
Dude, we did a rear end from Strange. Willwood did the brakes. I forget what the suspension was from. It had coilovers from Strange, all tubular suspension. So full suspension upgrade. So I was like, at the time, I might as well toss a TR 6060 in it. You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to go nuts with this thing. Cranked up the power. It made like 900 to the rear tire.
Shit.
And I couldn't drive it, so we turned it down to like 650. And it's still like, when that thing's under boost, dude, it's just burning the tire. No matter how hot you get those tires, it's just smoking it. So like,
He's also got the wastegate coming out the hood.
oh, dude, it blows
So like,
flames out of the
you know,
hood.
when you're a passenger in a car, like there's maybe been like 2 or 3 times I've been like, oh shit, in a car.
Oh yeah, I took
He's-
Dave for a ride.
He's
Yeah,
got a
that's
little
nice shit.
side road down the street from his shop, and it's very narrow, like train tracks on either side, and he's doing like 80-mile-an-hour burnouts in third gear with flame shooting out of the hood.
Dude,
And
all I see is big arms and hands. Like, what the?
I'm just looking for something to grab onto.
Dude, it's when you're doing north of like 100 and the tires start spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hairy.
yeah, it gets a little
Super
dicey.
fucking hairy.
Yeah. I had a vet that was like 1,000 to the rear wheels. It was a summer day. I was going to pick up some parts on the highway. I'm like, I'm going to see what this thing's got because all I've ever done is cruise it a little bit and burn the tires. I'm like, I don't know what it does on the highway.
C5 or C6?
It was a C5. C5 with a rear mounted 85 millimeter turbo. It was a LS3 too, wasn't LS1. And I'm getting on the highway.
A Hellion kit?
No, it was a custom. A friend of mine built the car and I bought it off him. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. You don't want this thing anymore? I'll absolutely add it to the collection. Like, I need another one, Everybody needs a 1,000 horsepower vet.
NT405s or the 506s?
I think there were.
The New Balances.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell that thing had, dude. I think it was like
Is it nylon heartbeat jacket?
we had something.
Do
Was
you have the
smoked
matching
up-
wallet?
I did, yeah, of course. Yeah. No New Balances though. I wasn't about to drop into the New Balance. I'm like, I don't want to be that vet owner.
Blue or black?
It's black. It's black. But it was loud, like no muffler, obnoxious, drag radials.
Choppy.
It's a fucking talent.
Dude, choppy.
It's a fucking talent.
It was choppy. It was stinky. It was not your dad's vet, dude. This thing was scary. Getting on the highway, dude, third gear pulls, and it was like 115, and it started going sideways a little bit. I'm like, fuck. I'm looking sideways on the highway, like looking at another car, and I correct the thing, and I get into fourth. I'm like, man, as much as I love this, I'm like, do I need this fucking thing?
Yeah.
Like that's a lot.
The
That's a lot.
big turbo power, you have to have that conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
Getting
Right.
into that project to be like, do I want to like cheat death
Yeah.
Right.
every time I
Yeah.
like really pour the coals to it? Is there? I mean, it can be. You can put the power down to an extent.
To an extent, dude. That's
Yeah.
it. And like even like the IROC, so we lowered the boost in that thing. I mean, dude, that thing's making like 8 pounds of boost. Like it's low, it's just on a spring, and it's still destroying the tires.
Yeah.
And it's like that's not a lot of boost at all. But it's just that's how those cars run. When
Think
those turbos light.
Think about those dudes, though, that in a different world than we are. But think about the dudes that are fighting and getting actual traction and hooking up at the 1,700 horsepower mark on street tires, on the street. Like, and making some, real 60-foot times. Shit, that's a totally different fucking animal.
Dude, it's big time. You ever seen that stuff in person?
Oh, well, legally or?
Well, no, illegally. Like
Illegally. Yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck yes.
So
No, the legal
all the time.
the legal street racing.
the legal stuff, like they do on TV. Just like what they do on TV.
Yeah.
Dude, we came across. I was
It's
cruising
a totally different world.
through a place one night, and I happened to hear some loud noises. So I pull in, and I'm like, man, what the fuck's that? Hanging out, and it's full on drag racing, dude. And I'm talking. Some of the guys near us, it is like wheels up drag racing, 2,000 horse, and they're hooking and booking, and it's unbelievable, dude.
Yeah.
It's crazy
On
to
the
see
street.
on the street how they can do that. It's
No
unreal.
prep.
Unreal.
Oh, everybody just listen. Tune into the fucking Dong Master episode.
I can't wait to
You're
hear.
gonna hear Southern
We're gonna-
Josh's
we're gonna-
fucking street racing story.
Oh yeah, Josh is going to be speaking a whole different language. when we do that.
You're Southern?
Just
Oh,
a
yeah.
little, just a little. Fucking wicked Southern.
It's gonna
man.
come up.
Just a little. Just a little.
Yeah, that's it. But to your point, like you said, you cheat in death. But there's people actually making that shit like fucking hook.
Yeah, it's just a different. I mean,
Well, it's not a
it's a different.
driver
If
car.
it's a different, it's totally different setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing different things with it. Like the Grand National, dude. You can get in that car, you can drive it. You can do it. It's an everything car. I mean, it's a Leatherman tool. You can you can drive it like your wife's SUV.
Fucking pocket Leatherman or hang on your belt.
That's a hang on your belt. You can
So the big boy.
dude. You can
all the accessories.
you can corner with it. You can do any kind of cool pro touring stuff you want. If you respect it, dude, and you can launch that car, and you can. I mean, it's not like you can just stand on it in first gear. First gear is a little dicey. Second gear's meh. Third gear, start pouring the fucking coals to it, and it's like a fucking freight train. I mean, it is frighteningly fast. But it does everything. It's not like you take it's cool, right, to put the fucking power down and just hook and go. But that's the only thing you're doing with that car.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a dick.
Right.
I'm just talking. We're talking about cars in general. It's fucking nuts.
Right. No, it's
the amount of people
it's fucking rad, but it's just a different animal.
What kind of power is that thing making right now?
The motor made like 1,600.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you keep? Is it like full? Like that's how you're driving it right now?
It's funny. Scott took it out recently, and it was on. It's got a Holly in it, so it's got the key to you can toggle through different maps on it. So I think he had it in like the 1100 mode, something like that. And he's like, "Bro, this thing seemed it seemed like it was a little slower last time I drove it." And I'm like, "Huh?" I'm like, "I know we were like messing with the fuel and the tune and stuff. Maybe it might not have been in the big tune, but he's getting after it."
Is he really?
So, yeah, but
That's
so it was not in the big tune.
Okay.
But it, like at that, it's pretty forgiving. Like you can pretty much just do whatever the fuck you want to do with it. But in the big tune, I think it's like 1,300 of the wheels, something about like that. You give it that last click, and you got to be. In it.
That car is that's in my top three right there.
Yeah.
That car was. I saw that in 21 when it was about halfway done. I think you guys had just finished up the gauge kit for it, and you were getting all the wiring complete on it. And then Chris and I went and saw it when it was getting interior. And man, what a special car that is.
Oh, it's impressive. How it still
And-
looks like a Grand
Like
National.
when I was a kid, nobody wanted that. Like everybody wanted Mustangs and IROCs. Everybody wanted Fox body Mustangs and IROCs. Nobody really had the G bodies, and
Yeah.
they're hey.
fucking Fox body.
Hey, I fell into it. I bought one last year. I got an 87 Grand National now.
You were an F body guy, right? You were
Yeah.
Camaro Firebird
Yeah,
guy, right?
and
You were
we had, like-
you were a WS6 Trans Am guy, I bet.
No, dude, I
The
listen.
WS6.
My
The
first
Firehawk.
You don't fuck around with a WS6 unless you have a Fox body with a bottom sump and the fucking two lines.
Oh, dude,
I'll fucking jump your ass.
everybody in my town had the same.
We're getting
setup.
southern right now. We're getting real southern.
Everybody in my town had the same setup.
Fucking
It was
GT40 upper and lower, fucking
Oh, yeah.
Hurst short throw and fucking H pipe, fucking
373
jump like a
rear end
fucking
or
Bengal cat. I'm talking about just like that. Yeah.
That's pretty much what they sounded like. We never had a lot of built Camaros when I was a kid, but the Fox body guys, like, dude, you could buy those things for so cheap, and
Yeah.
everybody had the same setup. It was, it was a wannabe pro street setup. They all have the same Mac mufflers. They all have the same sump in the back. And they all have the same GT40 intake and heads or whatever they put on those fucking things.
Yeah, H-pipe, 373 rear end.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dave was a
Yeah.
Fox body guy.
Yeah.
Nothing sounds
Race
better.
car in a box.
That was my high school car.
that-
87
Nothing
Mustang
sounds
LX.
better than
True.
a Fox body with Flowmasters.
Dude,
Yeah.
they're nasty.
Fucking
They're nasty.
I'm literally from 7 blocks away, just shaking fucking windows.
Oh, yeah.
Shaking fucking
The
Still
ultimate
to this
race
day.
car
And
and
sound.
dropping fucking panties. Fucking shaking windows and dropping.
Shaking windows.
That's a
'cause you
t-shirt.
had-
That's a
t-shirt.
You
t-shirt.
had, you had the Magnaflow mufflers, you had the H-pipe, and you had like
We were Flowmaster.
Yeah, oh,
a Flowmaster, and you had a 12-inch kicker in the rear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
We were
the-
the little Wu-Tang.
We were
No,
Cerwin
back
Vegas.
then
we were
it-
Cerwin Vegas or pile drivers. But
Yep.
early 90s, it was Dr. Dre.
yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
yeah, it was Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. But we
Yeah,
were also
Snoop.
in the South, so it was we had
Little Outcasts.
little outcasts.
Little 3-6 Mafia.
Little
3-6.
Master P.
Yeah.
Little Master P.
Yeah, it was a little more dirty. A little more dirty down in the dirty.
What a fucking sound though, dude. That like I feel like you are not a car guy if you can't identify that sound. There's a lot of cars that you're like, oh, I don't know what. Yeah,
Oh, I could close my eyes right now. And
a
I can
must,
hear it
yeah, a
going.
fucking Fox body with Flowmasters,
Yep.
miles away.
Dude, I'll
That's
admit.
3 feet from the stoplight. You're
Fucking
like,
Excel.
yeah, that's
The yellow Excel wires and the fucking distributor cap, the GT40 upper and lower, the trick flow heads,
Yeah,
H pipe, and the fucking Flowmaster. If you had money, you had an Alpine. We always
Yeah.
had Kenwood, right?
Yeah.
We had a Kenwood and Cerwin Vega or pile drivers, some Hyphonics amps. If you had money, you had PPI,
Yep.
Precision Power, for those that don't know, and fucking, I mean, basically, you're neck and neck with John Force, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you might as well. You might as well.
Hey,
be in
might
his
as well.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Hey, 225 horse from the factory. Maybe you were pushing 245 with that H-pipe.
Oh yeah,
dude, it sounded like 1,000.
dude.
Yeah,
You throw a
sound-
can, you throw a K&N air filter sticker on.
Oh, shit.
Dude, I'll never forget. Listen, it was a summer day, and I was at like Taco Bell with my friends. We pull in, and we're just hanging out, eating our food, and we're like young and poor and eating Taco Bell, right? And this fucking kid pulls in with this black. It must have been like an '89 notchback, dude. The black was like deep black, like Dave's car, or like that one you were just talking about.
Notchbacks, King Kong,
Hey,
Ding Dong.
It must have just
right?
left the detail shop.
Ain't nobody.
Not up here in the Midwest.
Fucking notchbacks when you had a set of
clean.
balls and a hairy bush.
Hey, so we're
Fuck.
You was a man. He was a fucking man with a notchback.
we had 200 horsepower. Yeah, you're a big man. So we're sitting there. My car's off, and we're just hanging out. And like the paint on my car was shit. And I don't know anything about paint. I don't know how to polish it. Dude, this thing comes in gleaming like it's off the showroom, but it's an '89, right? Hot girl in the passenger seat. He comes cruising in, parks right next to me, windows up, probably AC on, black as night, fucking windows, and it just sounded cammed out. Like this thing's about to like. You sound like it's gonna stall at idle, right? And it sounded so fucking nasty. We all get out of the car and like, I'm not a Mustang dude at all. I wasn't at the time. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm listening to the car shake. I'm like telling the guy to roll his window. I was like, what do you got in this thing? He's like, just an exhaust. Why? I was like, it sounds so fucking sick. I was like, how do I make my Camaro sound like that? He's like, you're never gonna get that car to sound like this lost by a Mustang.
Yeah, fucking Camaro with Flowmasters is just
He's like, sell it and buy a Mustang.
Yeah.
They
That's
don't
fucking-
sound good.
But could nothing drift or step out like a fucking F body?
Dude. Me and my buddy both had him in high school, right?
It's a
And
drift
I had an
machine.
84, he had an 87, and he's like, dude, we're gonna get fucking mullet wigs. I'm gonna cruise around like we're the baddest two in town. Look, mullet wigs, dude. We're like half in the bag, cruising around.
You're
town
gonna
on our
cover up the
Camaros.
frosted tips,
Huh?
You're gonna cover up.
It was
the
right
frosted
it was right
tips?
after the
this is
frosted tips. So,
post
you know, I had to-
frosted tips.
post frosted tips.
Pour some sugar on me.
Dude, oh yeah. And it's funny because I had saw him at a high school reunion that recently, and I'm like, do you remember that time we took my Camaro out and we went to that party? We were in my Camaro. We were just doing stupid shit, burning the tires at intersections. He's like, no, I don't remember that. I'm like, dude, we had two eyes between the both of us trying to get home, and you're telling me to get off the curb, and we got the music cranking. We got a keg in the back seat. I was like, that was living, dude. You know, it was a cool memory to relive. But that's how we did cars back in the day. You know.
Oh, fuck, those are the days, man.
Fuck, I'm gonna go buy a fucking notchback tomorrow.
Hey, I still look for them every once in a while.
They're fucking finding a
Well,
nice one.
now,
They're going for
yeah,
big money.
big money.
I want a fucking Georgia State Patrol car.
Oh,
GSP car.
Kid I grew up
Missed
with
that
has
bring
one.
a trailer auction.
Yeah.
I want one of those bad.
It's funny now, like my son is 17 and like his favorite cars are like Fox Body Mustangs, Buick Grand Nationals, like the two-door sport Yukon Tahoes from the 90s. He actually just bought a 1995 Yukon GT.
Oh,
Like saved his money and was like,
You got
that's what I want, Dad.
barn doors or tailgate?
He's got the tailgate on it.
Nice.
Good
Black
man. Good
black with
fucking
the red
doors are for
red and
farmers.
gray Yukon GT logo on the bottom.
Oh yeah.
And he came home one day, showed it to me. He's like, "Hey, I think I want to buy this. Can you check it out? Like, make sure it's not a piece of shit. You know, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, when I graduated college in 1999, the first car I bought was I bought a 1996 or 7
He knew
black
exactly. He knew
black
exactly what he was
Yukon
doing.
GT two door.
Sitting that he's in that
So yeah, so that's what he's been cruising to school all fall. And
You know how many walls we put in the back of those Yukon GTs? Fucking
Speaker walls.
speaker walls.
oh yeah,
For
Yep.
that was that in that. So that was 98 when I was doing all that. So then that was right when the 20-inch Goodyear came out. So we were doing 20-inch Asantes, Assassins.
oh yeah.
So it was the standard recipe. They'd come in with a Yukon GT or Denali with the ground effects, right?
Yep.
And it was 20-inch Asante Assassins, and then a fucking wall of like Hyphonics or whatever MTX 15s in the back. Make it completely useless, but
Blow the rear window out of
blow
it.
the rear window out.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we're gonna do the shirt for the Fox bodies. What was it? Shaking windows, dropping panties, rattling
Windows. Yeah.
rattling windows, dropping panties. It's a good shirt.
It's not, yeah, it's not a bad. That's like almost like a Big Johnson shirt.
Big Johnson's 5-0.
Big Johnson's Fox bodies.
That sounds like something cousin Mikey would say. Mike
Yeah.
Brennan.
Dude, that's a fucking dude we need to have on the podcast.
Oh man, he is the best.
Yeah, nobody really knows
No, we'll have
like
him
where
call
he
in.
comes
We'll have
from.
him call in. He's not going to come in.
Everybody just knows him as Jesse's buddy.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
well, him and Jesse grew up together.
He's not coming in studio.
No, they'll never leave.
He's calling. He's just doing a call in. Yeah.
Just doing it.
Anybody got a pee, or we're going to go straight to standard questions?
I'm good. You good?
I'm good for I can go for another 2 fingers.
Yeah, I can go for another couple hours.
Big boy. Somebody must have went TT before we started.
What'd you say?
Said you must have went TT before we started.
What is that? I don't like that word. Yeah.
What's TT like? Tinkle something?
Yeah, a little tinkle.
Little
Somebody must
tinkle?
have took a little tinkle. You took a piss before we started. Sorry?
That's off-putting when you say that. Isn't it? Is it just me?
I never
That's
heard
what
that
you
one.
talk about like a child. You say
I'm not a fucking child. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm 40 years old. You don't say that.
Wait,
And
you're
you're a
40 years old, but are you a grown ass man?
No,
I mean,
no,
we're
no,
all-
There's a difference. There's a big difference.
Dude, before we move on, Scott's got a Fox body. Wants to do something fucking cool with it.
rattle windows and shake panty.
Hey.
I don't know about that.
Hey, Scott always does something cool.
Yeah, but dude, how many miles are on that car?
It's like 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. No way.
Can't find another one.
That's what
Yeah.
I said. But this asshole talked.
No,
him into
I
it.
didn't-
He
I didn't
comes
talk him
walk
into
out,
shit.
Dude, your
Let's cut it
fucking
up.
brother said we're
I
gonna
didn't-
get
No.
after this
Hey,
Fox body.
Fuck with the nicest ones.
I didn't talk him into shit. That was collectively.
What are you gonna do? Put it in a fucking museum? Talk
That's
about
what I
it?
said. I'm like, dude,
Literally,
it's only,
yes.
All I said was it's only going to be worth so much.
Exactly. Fuck with it.
You know, it's like, how much is it going to fucking be worth at some point? You know, fucking 20 years in the future,
Hey.
was it going to appreciate $10,000?
Hey, in 1985, did anyone think 1970 LS6 Chevelle was going to be worth a ton of money?
Yeah.
There's got to come a point in time though when like average people, well, I'd say like the average guy can't afford a fucking Chevelle like that right now anyway. So they go into the Fox bodies. So you're right, but Dave's right. So where's that bring you in the future? Is that going to be like what a Chevelle is right now, having a Fox body for like 60 fucking grand? I don't know.
I don't think that.
Are we going to see a time like that?
I don't think that standard stock unmodified shit's ever going to be like what it was 20 years ago.
I don't think so.
Because
either.
the all of us have changed.
Right.
I don't know.
We
man.
don't want to fucking drive what a stock fucking Fox body drove like.
No,
we didn't
it's terrible.
We didn't keep
Hey.
a fucking Fox body stock when we had them.
Dude,
You're right. So why not modify that thing?
Yeah.
and
Right.
see what-
I
get
drove.
it.
I drove a completely stock 1989 Mustang LX 5.0, 5-speed.
Dude, we're here in front of God and everybody. It's a Capri, right? It wasn't a fucking. It wasn't a fucking.
Well, about 6 months ago, my friend had one. He wanted to sell it. It was a low mile car, and I drove it, and I'm like, man, this thing's a fucking dog. I can't believe I used to think these things were the shit in high school.
It wasn't no Monte Carlo SS, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, fucking Mr. Lee came by with his saline Fox body for his, like, you know, his rated. I drove it at like a fairly mint, low mileage, was that 87, 89, somewhere in there.
Yeah, saline, yeah.
That's quite possibly like the biggest pile of crap to drive ever.
Worse than a C2?
No, not worse than that. But it's like, what are you going to do with it, right? It looks
Right.
fucking cool. I love it. I want one. But to drive it like that fucking sucks.
Yeah, you don't.
So why not?
What are you going to do to this thing? You have any ideas yet?
I have a ton of ideas. But yeah, I guess we just got to commit to whether we're going for it. You know, like, do we
Did
really-
Goolsby do one a few years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're neat cars, like, to drive. That car, I drove that car,
You sit well in
and
it.
you sit good in it. It's just a fun car to drive. It's short wheelbase. It just, you ergonomically, you sit cool in it. Stock, they're horrible, right?
Right.
But his is a GT, so
Yeah.
it's got
Body
fastback,
kit, yeah.
fastback GT.
Ground effects.
Yeah,
Yeah. I got that. I bought last year a 15,000 mile 87 Buick Grand National, 100% factory.
How exciting is that to drive?
It's actually like nostalgia wise. It's like, oh, this is, you know.
This
kinda
was
cool.
fast in '87, like this.
Yeah, this was fast in '87. It's cool. Like everything works on the car. Like the headliner's not sagging, the AC works, the radio works, all that shit never
this is
worked
like
on
the
those
only
cars.
two things it has.
But none of that shit worked on
Radio
those cars
AC.
back then. But when you guys were building Scott's Grand National, I told Chris, like, oh, maybe I'll buy a Grand National, put a spec chassis on it, and fucking
Turbo,
twin
fucking
turbo
all,
on it.
You need to fucking do a damn Regal, fucking wires.
Yeah,
Training day.
yeah.
That's a Monte Carlo.
That's
though.
such a good one.
Yeah, but a fucking Regal though. Fucking.
I like the '79 Monte Carlo on wires, on spokes.
I like a Regal. It's a little more hood.
A Regal more so than a Monte Carlo.
Regal's a little more.
Yeah.
White. Monte
Buick.
Carlo's a white dude's car. The fucking Regal's not.
Not.
Right?
I'm a white dude.
I didn't say. I just said I wanted a fucking Regal, a little more hood. Or that or a Cuddy. Fucking Cuddy.
Yeah, there was one. Did you see the one that was on Bring a Trailer?
Yep.
The green
Yep.
one, like super low mileage. I was,
Yeah.
I came mighty close.
But you were not the high bidder.
No, I didn't even bid on it. But
What was the blue color of the '92 Mustang? What was the color code?
I don't know. Wasn't there a few
shit.
different? There was like the teal color, the blue color.
The
Teal or
dark blue.
the
The dark blue.
Calypso green.
Calypso green.
Calypso green is
That's not mine.
That's hard to beat.
I like the
it's
dark
hard to
blue.
beat.
I like the dark blue.
I don't know the name of the
Like
color,
the
but I know the
GSP,
color.
the GSP fenders and quarters color.
It's like
What's the color code on that?
7.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
He's a painter. I thought he might have known the color from the thing.
He's also an IROC
Fucking
guy.
guy don't do
I'm also a
collision
camera
work.
guy, dude.
Yeah.
so
Just a question.
I do
He's
love
looking
the-
at
I
you
do
like
love
you're
the
stupid.
sports.
Like you're stupid because that
Go
was
ahead.
a stupid question.
You're up.
No, I'm good. You're up, kid.
Best piece of advice you've ever received. Who wants to go first? Raise your hand. I don't want everybody talking.
Oh, I'll
over
go
everybody.
first.
All right, Chris. Chris, you in the front.
Me in the front. So back in, I would say I probably knew Dave for about like 4 years. I think it was after the red truck, actually. So it was a little while after that. The shop started getting bananas. And like fuck, dude, we're years out now. And the phone's like nonstop. And so it's just something new to deal with. And Dave come by to the shop and he's like, man, what's going on? I was like, dude, my phones aren't going to ring in. Like, we have people walking in the front door. Like, we had to have the lock company come and like lock the door permanently. So we just like it, you gotta knock. You can't just walk in the front door anymore. Bless you. And I'm like, there's just so much going on, dude. This is wild. He's like, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm trying to talk like Dave. He's like, pressure is a privilege. He's like, think about that for a second. I'm like, oh shit. Okay, I get it, dude. And like, I think about that, dude, all the time. That was probably some of
Football.
the best advice I ever got.
Football.
And so every time I feel like my back's against the wall, I'm like, dude, this is a privilege. Like, not a lot of people have this opportunity to have the fucking 100 phone calls a week, to have, you know, the messages that we get on social media are asking me for help all the time. I'm like, damn, dude, like, he's right, you know?
Yeah.
That dude that's living under the bridge that you pass on your way to work. How many phone calls do you think he gets?
Probably not many, dude. But I give him the pipes every single time I see him. Because I'm sure he's a hot rodder. Well, wants to be.
Who doesn't like cool cars?
Everybody loves cool cars, dude.
Everybody.
But that was probably the best advice I ever got, because it really made me sit back at a point in my life where I was like growing and needed to hear that. And I'm like, dude, like that just fucking kind of set me back in my seat and made me think more, because I didn't really understand it at the time, you know?
Did
So I owe that for Dave.
Did the growth come from that truck?
I'd say the growth came from the truck because it was more mainstream and it was a full. We have done a couple full builds. We did the first full build I ever did was for a guy, Dave Bartlett, that lives out in Nantucket. He's an old farmer, missing fingers, like fucking old flannels. He comes, he's like, we're gonna build this truck and it's gonna be in a magazine. I'm like, okay, dude. And it was like on a TCI chassis. It was a cool truck, air rotted, and it did cool. It got in a magazine, but it didn't get the recognition that it deserved because it was like the first time we ever had something in a magazine.
Nor did it drive really well.
Dude, you know, honestly, I got a phone call from that guy a couple years ago. He's like, and he can't, mind you, he's on a small island. He can't.
He lives
really,
on Nantucket.
They have like,
Yeah.
one main road, I think, and the speed limit's like 40.
Yeah.
Well, it's good
So
for
he-
40.
Hey, we put a Cummins in this thing, 6-speed turbo. It was a nasty little truck.
What's the fucking deal with Nantucket? That's a weird little,
a cool
place,
little place.
dude.
I
went there-
It really
It's
is.
cool.
So
No,
my
that's
buddy,
That's in the U.S.
It's
Yeah.
an island, Josh.
my buddy got married there.
You don't need to worry about that. You're from Alabama. You'll never go there.
Your sister's not there, you're never going to visit.
What's that supposed to mean?
Dude, my best buddy got married there. I was his best man.
Yeah.
So I went out there for the wedding. It's like it's very cool, but it almost feels like at the same time like like you're part of on the set of a horror movie. Like it's eerie.
Yeah.
Like 'cause
Well-
everything's the fucking same. Like
Everything's the same. All the houses look the same. All the roads look the same. They have like a very strict like building code over there. You actually can't build a house like you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna pull a building permit and build my house in July. Like all the construction needs to be done in off season. Like they don't want any building going on during tourist season, summer season. If you're a local, like I went to college with a kid who's from Nantucket, lives in Nantucket. He's a builder over there. And it's like either you're just like blue collar working or you're ultra rich and you have a summer house in Nantucket. And it's,
Gotcha.
you know, there's no in between,
Okay.
you know.
What was the fucking video? Did you ever see the interview with Portnoy where he's talking to somebody and they're like bitching about like wealthy people or something, and he's like, I have a fucking summer home in Nantucket.
Yeah.
He's like, does that suck?
Yeah, that was that was a good one.
He's I like him.
Yeah, good attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for fucking Dave Portnoy.
yeah.
Not
Sure.
a bad life he's living, I tell you that.
And on his terms.
Yeah,
Pretty much,
And
right?
you know what? You got to give the guy credit, man. He started out like literally like Barstool Sports was like a print newspaper, and he was like walking around the city.
Dude, he
handing
owns
them
every
out.
fucking college on every
Yeah.
college campus.
He owns every
you
high
telling
school
me,
now.
You think he
Yeah.
worries about fucking hate mail about a seatbelt?
No, he's your
Exactly.
idol. He is your idol.
Yeah. In his
I could-
in his
yeah,
line
yeah.
of work, he's like that. It's beneficial for him to be able to lean into that kind of stuff.
I don't think
Right.
he leans into anything. He's just him.
Like falls into
Fuck
it.
it.
Yeah, he doesn't
100%.
care.
He's
He,
just-
he, he doesn't care if somebody wants to do a hit piece on him or
He's
someone wants a bad
he's
mouth
living
him in
his
the
fucking
media. Or,
life.
What was the deal where they tried fucking like canceling or firing somebody, and he just owned it. I mean, owned it.
Yeah, he
He's
does
undefeated.
find him. He does
he's-
find himself in some
Yeah, but he's
situations.
I feel like he's undefeated.
yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, what was the fucking one that they tried to do the hit piece on him about the fucking chick where they're like, you paid her for sex and put like a collar on her or blah, blah. He's like, yeah. That's what I paid her for.
Let's nip that in the butt real fast. Yeah, I did that.
How dare you? I told her everything I was going to do. She gave me the price. I paid for it.
What's the problem? Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking cool.
Yeah. Hey, you may be right. Yeah.
I'm 100% right.
What? What's
That's
that?
Josh's idol.
Yeah.
Eh,
Hey,
respect.
he's
Respect, right?
he's living the American dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Doing his fucking thing.
Yeah, he had an idea. He ran with it. He put his head down. He worked his ass off. He grinded and
Everything he's done employee wise, whatever, like the video, at least the videos you see, whatever, it's just about fucking hard work. He's never treated anybody like fucking shit for just no reason. It's like,
right,
you want to work from fucking home. You can't work from home. That's not
Yeah.
the company we're fucking running.
right.
You come into work.
Yeah, that's great.
Whoa.
Yeah. Got a little loose. Oh.
Hey,
Not a fucking drop.
now we're spilling Pappy.
Yeah, that's it.
Not a fucking drop.
That's the beauty of these little glasses.
Best piece of advice.
Best piece of advice. I feel like I've had so many good influences throughout my life that it's hard to narrow it down to one thing. But you know,
Your mind goes to something right now.
right now it's like working hard works. You know, there's no substitute for hard work. I've told my kids, I've preached to my kids since they were little, like you might not be the best athlete on the field, but don't ever let anybody outwork you. You know, and there's no substitution for that.
Proof's in the pudding, though, dude. Look at tell him about Ryan. Proof's in the like. What have you been telling that kid his whole life? Like how hard work pays off.
he works hard and he's busting his butt and trying to do the right. I tell my kids all the time, like, hey, when you go to bed at night, close your eyes and ask yourself, did I try my hardest today? And did I do the next right thing? I mean, that's all it is. That's all it really is. It's all life boils down to, you know?
That's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
We do first car and a story about that car. You feeling saucy? We'll just ask the question if you just want to ask the question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take a run at it. I think this is a difficult one. We've got this is
First car.
We starting with don't answer.
This is complex.
We starting with Chris or we starting with Dave first?
Let's start with Chris.
All right.
I feel like Chris is an easier nut to crack because he's got an attraction. There's something about the F body that
It may surprise. The first car may surprise you. There's a couple first.
yeah, okay.
Careful.
Oh, do you guys? Do you guess?
So sometimes
you guys got to guess.
Oh, you guess. Oh, it's not a Fox. It's not a Camaro.
Lately we've been guessing. For some reason we've gotten a little cocky, right?
Oh,
we
dude.
think we can call it. So
You better come educated.
we generally ask first car and a story about that car, but lately we've been getting a little high in the saddle and trying to guess. So we're gonna go you first. Very similar in age, y'all too.
yeah.
Well,
I
you
did.
lead it out.
I
You-
did.
you
I,
feel
okay,
it.
I dipped my toes into it, and I touched the fire. It was hot. It burned me. I'm gonna back off a little bit, right? But but at the same time,
Where's this going?
well, I threw F body out there, and the feedback I got was it's certainly not a Camaro.
You
right?
took a hint from
Yes.
It'd be the first car. Be surprised.
Exactly. But he loves the fucking F body. So what would a guy that wanted a fucking F body, but maybe couldn't get his hands on it, didn't have the means to grab himself an F body? And
Can I give you a
A
hint?
98
I give him a hint.
Ford Taurus is close to an F-body.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I have one of them too. Fuck.
SHO or
No, it wasn't. Dude, let me give you a hint though, because it might help you with what
Let's
you
not.
guess.
Let's not.
No, dude, he needs
no,
a hint.
give me a hint. Give me a hint. Give me something.
That's not.
Give me
fair.
something because
Doesn't count.
you're complex, dude. You're a car guy.
got a lot of
You've
weird shit. I own a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, you have a vast array of things you're into.
So a grandparent had passed away, and my mom thought it was appropriate to just give me my grandmother's car as a first car.
Stop.
Yeah, I got it.
Stop.
I got it.
But think good.
It's a fucking
Stop.
4-door Tempo.
Tempo's good call. Are you
That's it.
staying with that?
You want to keep guessing, or you want to just?
No, I'm.
It's not right.
No, we're
but that's-
keeping guessing. We're going around the horn.
It's not right, but that's what I went to.
I
so I'm gonna
like it.
I'm
And
gonna
that's a baby blue, but
I'm
I
gonna
like
stick
it.
with it.
Hey,
I like
nobody ever woke up in the morning and said, Where'd all the Ford Tempos go?
Where the fuck did they go though?
They're with the Dodge Nitros.
Everybody's visioning that tempo in their head right now.
I'm gonna.
I know where they are. They're in trailer parks across America. Guaranteed.
What are you going with?
Grandma's car. Cadillac Catera.
Nice.
That's a good
Great
fucking
call.
pull.
Great
Nice
guess.
call.
Passing the baton.
This is a what year did you get your license? 99.
Yeah, like 98, 99, right?
All right. Oh man, I want to say this is a front wheel drive Pontiac of some sort. I'm going front wheel drive Pontiac. I can't lay down the exact
When the fuck
era.
did Grandma have a Pontiac? I've never seen a grandma drive a Pontiac.
I'm going front wheel drive Pontiac. It's just
Okay.
you can't don't
All right, you're feeling
argue
it.
with my fucking thing.
Go with it.
That's
He's playing off my Cadillac.
there was a front wheel drive Pontiac in '86, by the way, because I totally
What is
won
it?
in grand fashion. So
like
a grandma could have a front wheel drive.
Is this like a
Pontiac.
Sunfire? The fuck
They
is
did a Pontiac
was a-
6000. That was a front wheel drive. It was the same thing as the Cavalier. I mean, the same thing as the
Lumina?
yeah, all the same
buddy.
that platform. But I think it's a little newer. I'm just going front wheel drive Pontiac. I'm staying. It could be Grand Prix. It could be some stuff.
I might change mine. Cab forward design Chrysler.
Great.
What do you say?
The
Cab forward design Chrysler.
Cab
That's the
forward.
LHS.
Yeah,
or
that was
L-
when they first started the Chrysler 300, the LHS, the cab forward design, like the
Concord.
Would
Intrepid.
you have
Yeah.
a K car?
Dude, come on. That's
was
what I
a-
fucking had.
It was a K car.
Hey, fuck, that was a good guess. Dude, funny story. When I was like young, I was like, Mom, Nana gave me a ride home, and man, she was fucking ripping through traffic, and her car's making a funny noise, and I can't, what the fuck's going on with this lady? She's like, oh, your grandma likes to drive fast. I was like, all right, well, she didn't know why it made a funny noise.
Never would have guessed.
Dude,
K
it
car.
was
Grandma's banging off the rev limiter.
It was a turbo K car. They got a fucking turbo on it.
Every grandma had a K car at some point.
Dude, but grandma had a turbo K car. That thing ripped,
Your
dude.
grandma fucking badass.
She was
Grandma
awesome.
parties.
She was awesome, dude. True original.
Damn.
So they gave me her car, and it was in the driveway. And I get home from school. My mom's like, "What do you think? This is your first car?" I was like, "What the fuck is that thing? I'm not driving that." So I was like, "I can't show up at school. That thing. I'm gonna get beat up." She's like, "Well, listen, it's a free car. You either want it or you don't. You buy your own." I was like, "I'm gonna save my money. I'm gonna take the fucking bus. I'm gonna buy my." So the first car I bought for myself was a Camaro, but the first car I got was actually the K car.
Damn.
Yeah, and I didn't drive it, and it only had
Maybe
30,000 miles
that's
on
where
it.
your love for turbo cars came
I
from.
think so, dude.
What did you buy? Third gen Camaro was your first car?
Yeah, 84. Yeah.
Berlinetta.
It's a Berlinetta, yeah. Hey, black with white stripes, underglow. Psh, dude, that thing is bad.
I've got to
Dude, we
gotta
had
have a win.
my dad was getting rid of my grandpa had two cars. He had a Alante, Cadillac Alante,
yeah,
and a
yeah.
Chrysler Sebring.
I see the
So
hubcaps
those,
on the
you
Elante
remember
right now.
Yeah, those hung around the house for a little while. Me and Phil got some seat time in those suckers. Both the fucking Sebring.
Elantes were
And
fucking
the
high
Alante.
end on the inside.
Yeah,
You try to put the top down, it is never going
That
back
thing
up.
had some fucking switches and buttons
Yeah.
and fucking
It was
LCDs.
like 7 things needed to move.
My mother drove the. She had an '84 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham when I was in high school.
she was in the mob.
Man on the weekends.
Don't go any further. Now for you.
I'm gonna set the stage. I bought my first car when I was 13 years old.
Jesus.
Damn it.
Project car. Fuck.
Yeah, it changes things up a little bit.
Wait, you were hanging out
got-
with Mark then? So,
So
that's,
you
that
got
makes sense.
your license in 95.
Yes.
95. So you bought it in 92-ish, 92, 93.
No, I got my license in 94. No, 93.
So
90, spring of,
At 16?
16, you can get your permit.
Okay.
So my junior year was like fall of 93 was my junior year. I got my license. I got my license in the winter of 94.
What year did you graduate high school?
95.
You're 45?
I'm 46.
I graduated in 97.
You went longer than most
Yeah.
people. We've established this.
I didn't get him to think I went longer.
Yeah, you did. High school is 4
You're
years.
from Alabama. You got to
Yeah.
go a little longer.
My parents told me I graduated.
Maybe you started later.
The Southern guys get a break, they don't really
Yeah.
compute too much.
He was
I went
driving
to-
in junior high.
I graduated in 97, so I got my license in 95. Man.
When I had that first, I was 13 years old.
You bought your first project car. Don't say anything more. This was in early 90s.
Did you have car influence at this point? Did you meet?
No. He didn't have any
You
car
have
influence.
no car influence. You're not a car guy yet.
No, I was already like, well, you know, when I was growing up, like, you know, my uncle had the 67 Camaro. I was around Mark and Kevin my whole life.
Okay.
Those guys, you know.
But you were playing sports.
Yeah, but when I was growing up, like Mark had a 32 Highboy, and he lived
13.
But those guys lived like 7 doors down from me. Like I'd be peeking in his garage windows, checking out the 32 Ford when I was, you know, 12 years old, 13 years old.
This one's difficult.
He's tough.
Yeah.
I feel like I should know the answer, but I don't. Because if you're hanging out with Mark and fuck,
It's a 66 panel.
A little newer.
A fucking square body Suburban or square body Blazer.
That's a fucking OBS.
When you're
Ford.
a kid, this car was like a bad motherfucker.
Oh shit! Fucking car. I was going OBS Ford.
Fiero.
Movie famous.
You seen the size of him?
Movie famous.
Movie famous.
You a fucking Knight Rider?
No, earlier.
It wasn't a Fall Guys truck.
early 70s car?
Oh,
Later.
fucking
Yeah,
Starsky and Hutch?
Later 70s.
You got a fucking cop car?
I'm going to
Cop
guess it
tires?
wasn't a two-door. It probably wasn't a two-door because I don't see you driving one of those.
Oh, fucking 78 Trans Am.
79.
79.
way.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, because you couldn't
Smoky?
get.
No shit.
Couldn't get.
Oh,
Yeah, the 7.
13 years old, I was washing dishes at White Cliffs Country Club for Mark Conley, and one of the cooks kept coming in. He's like, "Hey, my brother's got the 79 Trans Am. He needs to sell it, $1,500. Then the next week he'd come in like, "My brother really needs money, dude. $1,300. My father was a mechanic, and the dude comes into work and he's like, "My brother needs to get rid of this car this week, man. Like $800, you can have it." My father comes down. The dude brings the car down to the country club. It's a 79 Trans Am, black with the gold, you know, bird phoenix on the hood.
Yeah.
Tan gut, T-tops, 4-speed, 400. It had some like racing clutch in it that you had to wear work boots to be able to put to engage the clutch. I bought it off the guy for $600.
Shit.
My father was a mechanic at the time. My father threw a repair plate on it, drove for the summer. He let me drive it a couple of times. I sold it the next fall for $2,400 and didn't put one penny into it.
I ain't got a fucking beat on the Northeast. I'm
Yeah.
fine.
That's awesome.
That's a
fa-
different
my-
genre for
My
me.
father drove
It
for a
really
whole
is.
summer, and then I took that money and flipped it when I was 15. I bought an 87 Mustang LX 5.0. And that was like my first car when I had my license and I drove it a shit ton before I had my license. By then my dad was gone, and it was me and my buddy would steal the license plate off his father's truck when he was at work, put it on the Mustang, cruise around, go to the hockey game, be ripping donuts and pulling hole shots in the parking lot of the ice skating rink at 15 years old with no permit, no license, unregistered, uninsured,
Fucking A.
12-pack in the back seat.
I'm off. I'm
Dude,
off.
you know who had a 79 TA? Fucking
Keith Krasny.
no. Chase Kaplan. AKA Cheese, AKA Meat Whistle.
Meat whistle.
Yeah.
What a nickname.
Fuck.
How do you get that?
Nickname.
How do you get that nickname, Meat Whistle?
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah, if you knew him, you would just be like Meat Whistle. Fucking gold had a 455 in it. Dude, somebody put
HO.
Yeah,
Fucking
somebody,
little HO.
somebody
It's like
put
146 horsepower.
some
High
Krager.
output, though.
Yeah, had Krager SS's gold with the fucking tan interior, and somebody had put exhaust cutouts on it at some point, so he would take one off, just one side. So,
Yeah.
so it was
cork style.
It was kind of loud, but not like super loud. But ratchet shifter, somebody had hot rodded it. It was actually kind of fast.
Mine had the honeycomb wheels on it. Yeah. Thing was tight.
Damn.
That's a find at that
Oh,
age.
Put a fucking
Yeah,
Georgia state flag on the front of that thing. Fucking, yeah, it's 150.
Like you say, Phil, all 156 horsepower.
Yeah. Well, it had the offset scoop because that was the year like the turbo that was like 190 something.
No, mine
Horse,
had
right?
mine had the shaker hood on it. Yeah,
His had somebody stuffed a 455 in it, so it had
Right.
455 with like a Holly something or another. But
Right.
it still had that little offset.
the
like,
offset.
turbo.
I think 1980 they did that turbo hood.
Okay. Yeah, this thing was just like an abortion. It was a
Right.
mess.
If you weren't doing what you're doing today for a living, what would you be doing?
Him first. Fuck, dude. I think about that all the time.
Like dream job. What would I be doing?
Where do you think your life would have gone?
You can't be in the restaurant industry. Where do you think you'd be at, or where would you want to be at?
Well, I mean, I still love what I love what I'm doing. I love my job. Like
But there's no restaurants in the world.
there's no restaurants in the world.
Where do people eat?
Hopefully, my goal.
Whole
would-
Foods.
My
Like,
goal.
where do
My
they
goal
eat,
would
like,
be to
regular
be.
food,
My goal would be to sweep floors at the Roadster Shop.
That's a good one.
Dude, that could be.
Tell you what, ain't no
Pretty-
fucking schedule. You ask us at the end of the day what time to show up the next morning.
That could be a pretty lucrative career. That is a difficult position to fill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just how you do something's how you do anything. Isn't that what John says?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's hey, you either do it right or you don't do it at all. Like I was taught at an early age, like it doesn't matter if you're washing dishes, it doesn't matter if you're cooking for somebody, it doesn't matter if you're building a hot rod, it doesn't matter if you're sweeping floors, man. 150% all the time.
Yeah, like socks on a rooster. Sometimes they just don't fit.
Yeah.
How does that?
That's just saying.
That's
People say.
southern. That's the
That's
southern.
yeah. That's the southern, like tits on a
just
bowl,
coming up.
man. Like tits on a bowl.
Socks on a rooster.
like a sore dick. You don't fuck with it. What would- That's a Bob Johnson right there. I guarantee there's people listening. You,
Man, that's a tough question.
no DJ. DJ's out of the question.
Really? Come on.
Frosted tips. Frosted tips.
Frosted Tips,
Yeah.
Outcast on blast that everyone's listening to all day long. Dude, that's a tough question. Fuck. So if there's like no hot rod shops in the world, and like hot rods on a thing,
The hot rods aren't a thing. You can't make a living doing it.
can't.
That's
Well,
that's reality.
You can't legally have a job doing it.
Honestly, dude, like if money wasn't an issue, or like I mean, you know, I'd love to teach because I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there. So I went, like I said, I went to Wyotech when I was a kid, and there was I think 3 teachers to 60 kids in a class, and I was so fucking fortunate that I knew how to weld, and I was over there like doing all my welding certifications and all this shit, and before I knew it, I had a table of like 15 kids sitting around me like, hey, man, the teacher's too busy. Can you show me how to do that? Dude, I taught 15 kids how to weld in that class. And they all just grabbed on what I was saying. And I was like, wow, I could do this. But there's no fucking money in teaching, unfortunately. So I turned to the hot rods, which is cool. But I think, man, I would love to be able to teach kids stuff and kind of mold a mind, you know, for a kid that has like no direction. I'd love to do that.
I will say that
Much better person than anybody else at this table.
I was gonna say we've done 100 and something of these things, and there's been like 87 people show us that they're better people than we are. There's been 13 of them that have been like, nah, fuck, I'm way better than you. But the overwhelming majority is they're just better people than us. You feel good about yourself?
No.
If you were asked that question 100 fucking times, you would never come up with a teacher.
No, I mean I can, like I feel that, no, I mean I would like I don't.
He was great with teachers.
Wait, no, yeah, I wasn't good with teachers, but a kid that genuinely shows interest in it, fuck yeah. I mean, I would love to. Like, I mean, honestly, at this stage in my career, I would love to be able to do that. Am I super enthusiastic about doing it to like somebody who's in their late 20s that isn't that interested in learning?
Well, you don't get to pick and choose who shows up at school.
You don't,
He's
but
not
you know what
allowed
though? Like
around schools either.
when I went to school, when I went to Wyotech, dude, there was so many kids that their parents just paying for them to be there to go to get an education and to learn something. And they're over there like, dude, like, I forget. There's not a lot of kids that I went to that school with that ended up doing some kind of automotive stuff with their life. And there was only a couple of kids that did something big with their life, you know? Like, they took that initiative, they ran with it, they got it, and great for them. But there's a lot of kids that just went to just like say that they went.
Yeah.
And fuck those kids, dude. Honestly, like you're wasting time. You're wasting that teacher's ability to teach because you're just here to like please your parents. But there was so many kids that like, dude, that was it for me. Like I paid for school myself. I didn't ask for a handout. I could have taken a handout if I wanted one, but I didn't, dude. I fucking paid for everything on my own because I figured that would kind of like help mold me and like make me appreciate what I was learning even more, and it did. And so I did it for the rest of the kids that were at that table. Like, dude, this kid's not going to graduate that class unless he knows how to fucking weld that thing. So he's got to figure this out, and his weld looks like shit. So grabbing a kid's hands and showing him how to run a bead was kind of everything. I was like, oh, dude, that's really cool. But there's a lot of people that, you're right, that just look at it like, like I don't really want to be here. Well, dude, if you want to be here, this ain't for you, man.
Somebody who's enthusiastic about it, I'm all fucking in. I mean, I would love to be able to share that. Like anything that I know, any knowledge that I've gained, I would love to be able to share it. But if you're not fucking enthusiastic about it,
why should I
then
waste my time?
I have no interest.
And I'll help a lot of people too, like on Instagram, that'll send me a message and ask me stuff. And one thing, like I'll never post anything that pisses me off, but I think it was like a month ago, I had that guy send me a message. He was like, and I look at he asked me how I did hey boss man, like how'd you weld that sheet metal? How'd you do that? And I'm like, and sometimes I'll just like answer quick just to get through them all. But I clicked on his page and he owns a shop and he's like an older dude and he's got all these customers and we're building the baddest shit. And I'm like, you're fucking asking me how to do something so you can charge a customer? I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
But if you're a kid in his garage or you're a guy like trying to learn a new hobby, I'm going to help that dude as much as I can. But for the guy that's taking a customer's money, I'm not going to help that guy. I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but
He's trying to get the easy approach to get the
Yeah,
quick
dude, it's
answer
not gonna
to
happen.
move
You're not
on
getting
and
an
not
answer
put
from
the
me, man.
equity.
I send you a link. Open that image.
You did?
That'll show you how to weld it.
That's it. Yeah. You see this YouTube channel? Follow that guy.
That's
Ask
a
him the
picture.
questions.
That's a picture of my butthole.
I need that link. I'm gonna
I didn't know you were going that way.
That's how you weld it,
That's how you roll it. Yeah.
motherfucker.
You know what? I'm gonna get a special link, just like the phone number back in the
He'll
day.
send
You
it
could call
to
and
you. Yeah.
it would just
It's
go to
not
the hotline.
special. I'll give you the link. It's easy to find.
Just send it to me, dude. I'm fucking sending it to everybody.
I don't update that much anymore.
What about you?
Once you pick,
What about you, Josh? That's something you've never fielded that question.
which question? What
That
would
if
I
you-
do?
yeah.
You've never felt it either.
I feel like I had. I think I had.
No, you haven't.
I think you guys
None of
did.
us. None of
Let's
us
hear
have
it.
ever
Yeah.
fielded it.
Felled it.
Felt it.
Felt it.
Felt it. Corey felt it.
I mean, that's like an open-ended question though, because like you could just, I mean, hey, if I'm not working in a restaurant, like I want to build rockets, I want to build
100%
spaceships.
military.
You want to be in the military?
Should have done the military. As an 18-year-old, I was too big of a fucking pussy. Didn't think I could handle it,
Right.
and that's the one thing. If I could go back, I don't know if I wouldn't change where I'm at today
Right.
at all.
You just love tactical shit.
No, I think there's something.
Badass about it, like James Bondy, or you think?
No. Like to see if you could succeed at the highest level.
Dude. And you know what's really
Right.
cool
That type
is
of test yourself.
seeing your
I'm
friends
not
that
saying
have.
I could. I'm not saying I could. I know I couldn't. That's why I didn't do it at
Fuck,
fucking
dude,
18.
I couldn't, dude. I had some of my best friends go to the military, and like one of them, dude, this kid came home on leave, right? And he's like, "Hey, call me from like a payphone. Hey, I need a ride to the house. Is anybody around?" And like, this is when we're like early 20s. So like, no one's around to give you a ride, dude. But meet us at this bar. We'll be there in like an hour. Oh fuck, all right, dude. With his gear, the dude ran 5 fucking miles in the winter. Met us at the bar, and is like, I'm like, "How'd you get here?" He's like, "I ran." I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, I couldn't do that. I could not fucking do that." He's like, "That's nothing." He's like, "Give me drinks. Let's go."
I just
It takes a different type of person.
Yeah, it does.
not to get too deep at 40,
Six,
early
7.
40s.
Mid to late.
I'm early. Okay,
Mid.
full.
Mid.
I'm dead mid.
Full
I'm
mid.
dead mid.
Full
Early.
mid.
Mid
Early.
40s. All right, fucking 45. Fuck off. Fuck off. Keeping up with the score and the age. All right.
Right. This is just not in the cards for you. This
No.
this
There's
is a
no
fucking
current-
pipe.
no
This
going
is a
back.
I'm
fucking
not
pipe
saying
dream,
I'm
dude.
going back to the military. You just let me.
There's
Go
a
ahead.
cutoff.
point.
There's a cutoff, dude. You can play like you can play the games online.
Go ahead.
I,
That's about it.
I've always been. I'm not the brightest person. But I always like step back. Everything's about a microscope. Like, everything is your vision changes, however far you focus or however far you step back. Right. So everything that you're focused on doing, whatever job, career, and all that kind of stuff, if you step back and look at it from a macro level, whatever, some of the things don't make as much sense or aren't as important, right? And I think the farthest out you can get, at least in my mind, whatever, is protecting the country that you're born in, right? So that's the thing that matters the most. Like, we worry about, fucking cars are fucking awesome. I wouldn't trade it for a world. I love my fucking wife and the kids and family I've built because of this. Love working with you guys. Love everything that we've done. It's like that. But if you step back, whatever, in the grand scheme of things, the only way I could look at it is like, what would, at the end of the day, if I was a fucking man enough to like give your life for the fucking country that is giving you everything, that's the only thing I could look at as being like a fucking.
It's like the ultimate, you know?
Yeah. Like
total badass, yeah.
Or just the fucking thing that matters. Like, actually fucking matters at the end of the day.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
I'm not saying that anything we do doesn't matter, but I mean, I think anybody listening probably understands. Like, there's a point of where it's like, what we're doing right now, sitting there having this fucking conversation, eating fucking lobster, right? And drinking fucking the best bourbon that is around, having the baddest ass employees and the baddest ass customers and the fucking baddest ass customers and the baddest ass customers.
Because somebody sacrificed.
Is because somebody's out there fucking doing the shit that, like,
Yeah, that someone else is doing the hard
there's
work.
there's a wife and kid at home right now where the motherfucker out there being a fucking badass.
Right.
For us to sit around here and fuck around and make jokes and shit like that. And that, I don't know, it's always being so close to it at, 16, 17, 18 years old, of being like, that's what I'm going to have to fucking do. I'm going to have to fucking go do it. And then bitching out what I felt like I was bitching out because I didn't feel like I had it. It's always kind of been like, fuck, there's somebody else didn't bitch out. And I've got to do some dumb fucking shit for 30 fucking years because somebody else didn't bitch out. Not to be deep, I'm just saying it.
But also too, that's hey, that I think every man, if you care about America, you care about our country,
right?
Every man feels a little bit of that. Like, my grandfather was a Marine paratrooper in World War II. Then he enlisted in the Navy for Korea, and then he was a Boston firefighter for 25 or 30 years, and raised 6 kids in the city. Like,
did they work from home?
that phrase wasn't there was no such
you
thing.
You want to go down a fucking path.
There wasn't no work from home, and like, my grandfather is one of my biggest idols, and I put that guy up on a pedestal, and he was a bad motherfucker, but he was he was also a gentleman. And just a great man.
Because he learned all that shit from what he did.
Yeah, and you looked at him. Hey, he was tattooed up and down and had all the
2-year mandatory military service from 18 to 20.
Israel does it, right?
I know. Yeah. Tell me your workforce that you would have at 20 years old and the education that they would have, free of student debt.
Right.
Just the education they would have in 2 years, the real world experience, and the work ethic that they would have.
Right.
What your work force would look like across the nation.
Be a lot tougher, dude.
You think?
Like, look how soft these people are now, dude. You go to get your coffee in the morning, and it is something looking at you with, like, man, I isn't gonna get in trouble for this.
No,
they don't know what the fucking hard day of life is like overseas, like fighting for their life, fighting for our freedom.
Their hardest day is being constantly referred to as the wrong pronouns. Yeah. And they still are dead set on going by these pronouns. Change the look and then I'll maybe get it. I'm never going to get it right. Don't try to confuse me with a trick fucking question.
And we're catering to these people way too much, dude. Like,
I know.
I won't do it.
Their feelings. I don't either. But you know what? They're catering to them too much. But what about these guys in the military that are standing there, like, giving their fucking lives and giving up their family back home? Like, dude, growing up, like, so my friend that had run, met us at the bar, 5 mile fucking run like it was nothing. He ended up getting killed in the Army when we were like 25 years old. Dude, one of my best fucking friends. And all of us sat back like, holy shit, dude. Like, he gave everything. And we're over here just partying and having a good time, but he's the reason we get to do that. And you get this fucking thing with purple hair, like, bitching that you didn't leave a 25% tip. Like, dude, where the fuck did we go wrong? That's kind of fucked up.
Yeah. when it's
Well,
They don't have to
well,
do any of that
I want
shit.
a, I want a
And-
grande black coffee and turn it around. 20% tip? Question mark. Motherfucker, the motherfucker's gonna hand it to me.
Yeah, no, thank
And when you order that, when you walk into that coffee shop and you look at the person and say, "Good morning, how are you?" and they look at you and go, "I'm existing."
How are you supposed to respond to that?
Like, come on, man.
Sucks.
I love
But
the term.
I think us as
Toxic masculinity.
toxic masculine men,
Right.
which I'm not ashamed to be.
There's still women out there.
There's
that
gonna be a
want that.
little piece of any real man that says, "Fuck, I would have liked to strap it up for my country."
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But also too, like, you know what? You're about my age. Like in 1995, when we were getting out of high school, there wasn't really any conflict in the world. You know, there wasn't any.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
there was
no-
nothing.
No reason.
No, there was no reason to. Like my grandfather, like he got drafted. You know, he was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna go in the Marines and be a paratrooper." And,
Yeah.
That's cool.
You know.
That's cool. Imagine if there was a draft today, though. Like, how many of these fucking
Oh shit.
this woke generation would be running for the hills?
Well, you got to think like, I mean, you look at what would that draft entail? Why would there be a draft? It's like the conflict wouldn't. More than likely, it wouldn't be something that you would want to fight for. You know, it's like the fucking bullshit in the world today. The turmoil is not something that, like, you know, is
No, I don't think
would
I don't
make
think
you want to
would
lay
have
it on the line. You know,
I don't think you'd have the turmoil anyway if, again, you go back to stepping back out. Say every single 18-year-old goes into military service. Think about the size of the military force that the United States of America would have at every 18, 19,
man.
and 20-year-old
Huge, dude.
was
Come on.
serving.
And
Whether
just
they
talk-
liked it or not,
but-
they're
and-
going to learn to like it in about 6 months,
Yeah, they
right?
are.
One way or the
just
other.
the invaluable life lessons that
Yeah.
that those
But you
young men
also
and women
wouldn't
would
have-
get.
You also wouldn't have any other country talking motherfucking shit because it's
Nope.
like that's a
not- yeah.
quite
Who's doing
large military force at that, right? And then you learn. But
Right.
regardless, we digress. I just it solves, again, everything's about stepping back and looking at it from a bigger problem.
Yeah.
That solves a lot of fucking problems, makes your companies stronger, makes the economy stronger, makes the United States stronger, makes everything stronger, which makes the next generation stronger.
Well, it gives us the freedom to
or
succeed.
weaker.
You know.
That's the problem. Next generation's always weaker the stronger that you are. Something like that. Yeah, it goes around. Yeah.
Well, I think it's
Tough
important.
times make weak men. Or
Yeah.
there's something with that. Yeah.
People, fucking look it up. We've been drinking it. The lobster. It's the lobster.
Google it. You know what we're trying to say here.
What would you be?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't say fucking teacher. He already took it.
Dude, I mean, if I had the talent to do it,
Guitar.
yeah, it'd be a rock and roll band.
Right.
Like,
I
it's
knew
just
you were right.
honestly,
I know.
it's just the thing that interests me the most. It's like the only thing that like inspires me outside of cars. Like, I just think that's genuinely really fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's cool talent.
Drums or
talent.
guitar?
I've played the drums like for a long
No,
time.
if you had to pick, if you were going to be a rock star, drummer or guitar?
It'd be the guitar. I mean,
Yeah,
the
'cause
drummer's
guitar
like
gets the shit. Drummer gets the
yeah,
leftovers.
right. No offense to Sam. Like, Sam's badass, right? But his brother's getting all the chicks. You know, don't you think?
You can tell them.
What about you?
I don't know.
Professional athlete.
Maybe. I don't like the whole the chef barbecue pitmaster type thing. For
Oh, I can talk
probably
you
good-
out of that real quick.
I always wanted to be a marine biologist growing up. Just love the
Really?
ocean. Yeah.
I learned something new today.
Did you?
Well, fucking hunting for treasure, dude.
Yeah, that'd be
Sick.
pretty fucking cool too.
You
You done a
big
treasure
into like
hunt? You ever
fucking
done one of
whales
those?
and shit like that, or fish? Anything?
Anything? Yeah, I just love the ocean, scuba diving, snorkeling, catching lobster, just being around all of that.
Is there male and female manatee, or are they asexual?
I would assume there's male and female. 'Cause that's how they reproduce.
Yeah, I witnessed the female manatee the last. I've got videos.
Phil,
of it. My
Phil, are
wife's
you
on
certified
camera.
to scuba dive?
I am. Yeah. I just got my daughter certified. She's 12 years old. So I've been taking her a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Just love it. Awesome. Just the peacefulness of being down there and seeing everything. And there's always something new, like everywhere you look that you didn't see coming.
They say it's like space on Earth.
I haven't been since I was like 21 years old. I got certified when I was, early teens. And I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah, I got certified when I was 12 or 13 years old
me
as
too.
well. And then scuba dove with my dad for a long time. Then college life, didn't do it for probably 20 years. And now with my daughter getting back into it. And it's just cool teaching her and getting back underwater. And I don't know, it's kind of a round two.
Yeah, cool.
Fucking around where you guys are from. I mean, great whites. That's yeah.
That's different water up there.
It is.
There's great whites up there?
Yeah, come
There
on.
ain't no great
You ever seen
whites.
Jaws?
Fuck yeah.
That's
That's where
filmed
they
right over
filmed
there.
that shit.
Jaws Bridge.
Yeah, but it wasn't
Martha's
a real
Vineyard.
fucking shark.
Did you watch
It's not like
the movie?
They trained the shark to do all this shit that they found.
It's based on some
Movies are
truth.
based all kinds of fucking places. Amityville Horror is based up there too. Doesn't mean dogs come back to fucking life.
Dude, that's where the fucking great whites are. That's the fucking
No,
Ground
Australia is
zero.
where the great whites are.
another
No,
place where they
there's
are.
there's a lot of great whites up by us.
You are stupid.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but no one really
Hey,
gets a
hey,
hit, though, right?
hey.
Like,
They ship the great whites to Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, that's right.
The fucking FedEx. FedEx might have some fucking
Big
great
planes
whites.
where the nose comes up.
Yeah. Dude, that's one thing
cold water
that
up
they're
there.
a little bit frightening. Like you go in the reefs in Florida and there's always like you get big ass cudas, like 4 or 5 foot barracudas.
Those fuckers are nasty.
And
Those
they just
fuckers are
they
nasty.
just linger,
I know, but-
dude.
I judge
But a
everything
great
scary
white-
based on how many times you hear about it in the news. How many people you hear about getting fucking bit up by great whites in the
A
news?
lot, dude. They will fuck you up. How many fucking surfers do you see with like?
You have it all the time
1
in
hour.
the fucking Gulf with like fucking bull sharks and stuff biting
Yeah,
the shit
bull
out of you and
sharks.
stuff.
Yeah.
But nothing. You don't have like a great white eating a human.
Google it, dude. Seriously,
does
Google
it
it.
not happen very often? I mean,
Well, but Google the statistics,
All right.
like East Coast great white attacks. Google it.
Shark Week. Here we come.
I'll bet it definitely exceeds bull shark or any other like what lemon shark. What's another fucking aggressive
You're-
shark in the Gulf?
You're gonna
Like,
make that statement?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
bull sharks are number one.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, deaths, right? You get fucking tuned up by a great white, that's game over.
yeah, there's not really much coming back from that. Like you
Right.
hear those like 1 or 2 stories that somebody made a documentary of that they actually survived.
There hasn't been any attacks up by us in a long time,
Long time, right? Yeah.
but there's been a ton of sightings. Ton.
What's it say?
2 great white sharks seen traveling the Atlantic in tandem shock researchers.
It was like
That's
today.
it.
Are
It was
there
like
great
today.
white sharks on the east coast of the United States? Researchers at OSearch first tagged the sharks named Simon and Jekyll. If they're tagging 2 of them,
And they have
there probably
names.
ain't a shit ton of them.
There's
They're down to 2.
Hey, there are a shitload of great white sharks in the Northeast.
But they're not attacking
And
people.
the problem is that the seal.
Florida is the state with the most great white shark attacks. 259 unprovoked shark attacks between 2012 and 2021.
great whites?
What state
that's
has the
just-
most great white shark attacks?
Florida?
Nah, that just says shark attacks.
It's great
No, that says
white,
great white.
shark attacks.
That's the question, but the answer does not mention great
Yeah.
white sharks. There's no great whites in Florida.
Are there great white sharks in Massachusetts? Once rare in this area, great white sharks
But now
Hundreds of them.
are
wick-
hunting in the shallow waters.
they're wicked everywhere.
Yeah, in Cape Cod.
They're wicked. Yeah, they're
How many
Wait,
great
they're
white
waiting for your
sharks
cockies.
attacks on Cape Cod?
A lot.
According to there have been 6 unprovoked shark attacks around Cape Cod since 1958.
How many provoked shark
dude.
attacks
That's
have
that's
we
not
done?
many.
Yeah.
58 to that's
Hey, I'm gonna go fuck with this great white shark.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't tell you like there's a lot of people out
1958
there.
to 23.
It's a lot of years.
6 times it's happened in at least 70 years.
A lot more than happened in Illinois.
Right. True.
Truce. Agree to disagree.
Neither one of you are going to back down.
Fucking fake news, dude. I feel like they've just filled my head with lies.
Hey, there's an app to track.
Great White Tracker.
Yeah, Great Whites.
Right.
People check it all the time when they're at the beach.
I'm not. You know this about me and useless trivia.
Yeah, he's undefeated.
Except we defeated you this evening on your fucking Louisville deal.
It's been substantiated by someone that lives in Louisville. It's been unsubstantiated by someone that lives in the Northeast.
Yeah, the Great White capital of the United States. of America.
Google said there's been 6 attacks since 1958.
You believe everything Google says?
No, I just don't. There's no. That's the only metric we have. All right.
I don't believe it.
We've had a couple listeners reach out lately. We've got 2 from Australia, 2 from Canada. I think there's 2
We probably
from
lost
Oklahoma.
the 2 Australians to Great White attacks.
Because they're like, fuck you guys, and you're worrying about sharks.
Yeah.
That's
got-
not a shock.
They got megalodons down there still.
Right?
I'll show you a shark.
Yeah. Lost my leg, right?
Where can first of all, we don't take giving culinary advice lightly. We've only done it once or twice in the 100 or something episodes as far as giving advice of somebody to go to a restaurant and check them out.
Yeah. This is
But we're giving advice. There's 2 restaurants.
place to go.
There's the Trading Post Lounge.
Yes,
What's
sir.
the address and where that's at?
Trading Post Lounge is 12 Trowbridge Road in Bourne, Massachusetts.
If you're in the area, go check it out. If you're not in the area, go ahead and make a trip. Now, the Lobster Trap. Where's it at?
290 Shore Road, Bourne, Massachusetts as well.
I'm making a bet right now. How much do you want to bet that in the next 90 days, our good friend, foodie, and
John Jackson.
a photographer extraordinaire, John Jackson, will be making some posts that he just so happened to have a couple photo shoots up in the Northeast.
If I'll say this, if John Jackson makes his way out there, it's not going to be Dave's burden. We will cover the Roadster Shop. Will cover John Jackson's tab.
So if John Jackson can make it to the Lobster Trap, the Roadster Shop's covering John Jackson's tab. And JC's?
Yeah.
All right.
yeah, it was
Was that fuel mileage too? Or
no.
Just the dinner. Just the dinner. Yeah, you're getting crazy.
Well, I mean, appetizers, probably.
just apps.
Doesn't he
So
drive?
2 entrees, an appetizer, and 1 drink.
So you got a cruise? Doesn't he have that
He's going to drive
Mercedes?
the home wrecker. Yeah, he'll drive the home wrecker up there. But I'm telling you right now, with this advice, he's given us some great advice on restaurants before. We've given him some. I'm telling you, you're going to see some social media action up in the. I got to go up to fucking Boston to some PBG, shoot some stuff.
Shoot some cars.
Swing by
Chris's
the Lobster Trap. Swing by Chris Cerce's.
I'll say that if we don't have anybody show up at the Lobster Trap in the next few months and drop the Roadster Shop name that they heard about it on this podcast,
Then we're stopping.
then we're shutting it down.
We're quitting.
Yeah, we don't. There's no reason to do this anymore. Then
I
I
agree.
mean, we
with you.
do serve. I think last year we did about 180,000 guests at the trap for the summer of the year.
Can they get?
What is the
can they get some
winter?
cool merch on the site? Like, can they go to the website and buy?
Yeah,
some merch?
yeah. We sell.
If you
merch.
can't go there and fucking get some of this badass lobster, at least like
rock
walk
the shit.
around. I want to see some fucking Lobster Trap shirts at
dude,
Columbus.
buy some merch. The Trading Post. This is like in my daily repertoire, my weekly repertoire.
I'm telling you what,
I like the
that's
shirt.
That's a good
I
fitting
do.
shirt.
I do
Like,
like the
It's
shirt.
a very good fitting shirt.
Dude, I wear this thing to the gym, and I'm telling you right now that the girls will look at it. They're
Chicks
like,
dig it.
all of them. Where's that restaurant? I heard of that restaurant. I'm like, yeah, it's in the Cape. I just thought you'd come over to say hi. But it's in the Cape. It's in Bourne. You're going to love the food. Yeah, great. But the shirt brings a lot of attention. Wear it
good
a lot.
fit.
It's a good shirt. My kids wear them. You hooked
Yeah,
up with some
Wyatt's
kid
always wearing
sizes.
them.
Wyatt
I like
rocks
that.
it.
Yeah,
Love the new fucking hats, dude.
yeah,
We're getting away from the flat bills, which,
yeah.
as we are all getting older and having substantially less hair and wearing hats more often and frontwards,
It's a good cover up.
Yeah, these work better. I dig it.
Everybody can check you out on Instagram at Chris_Cerce_Customs. _customs. That's CERCE, right?
Correct.
Chris Cerce,
Right.
ChrisCerceCustoms.com.
Yep. Same.
Are we
website, Instagram? Yeah.
Pronouncing it right? 'Cause it's Cerce.
Yeah, we went through that.
Cerce, yeah, we got it. He got
We
it.
started this 4 hours ago with that.
I
and-
just wanted to circle back now at the end.
And if you,
Circling back.
Try it for me. It's Cerce. It's just Cerce.
for anybody
Cerce.
that is anywhere on the east side of the United States of America, looking for a Roadster Shop chassis, Chris Cerce,
Is your man.
that's your fucking
He's
man,
the
dude.
dealer.
Appreciate
Hey,
it.
The dealer, that's your go-to. Chris knows how to put them in, how to install them, what they do. Hit them up, man.
Honestly,
and if you want a badass hot rod built that the builder is going to stand behind, and,
That's your guy.
I mean, he's the guy. And I can't tell you, now some years have gone by, and I've built, bought, sold more than my share of cars. I can't tell you how many times, dude, the ice cream cruiser. I got 10,000 miles on that car through 17 states.
hard ass miles.
Hard ass miles, man. We don't drive easy on those tours, and I don't drive my shit easy anyways. I'll still call him. I mean, he finished that car in 2020, 4 years later. I'll still call him sometimes and be like, hey, thanks for building a badass fucking car, man.
Hell yeah.
I just put 220 miles on this thing today. I was, laying down 200 feet of rubber and this, that, and the other thing, driving
That's
it through
awesome.
a rainstorm. And, he really stands behind his stuff.
it's funny that you say that because I remember it was midsummer, and when I get to see Dave in the summer, it's not as often as I do in the winter because he's cranking at the restaurant, and I totally understand that. So I'll go visit him, me and my fucking friends, all the time. We're always down there eating food as much as we can. And it was like maybe a month I haven't been down there. I get a random phone call on a Saturday night. Hey man, I just got to tell you, I drove the Impala to work today, and I'm taking it home. It was a long ass day. People fucking bitching. People loving food. It was like a up and down to like emotional day. I could tell. He's like, but I left the trap and I burnt the fucking tires. And he's like, it just changed my day. And I was like, dude, that's everything. Like that was the best phone call I ever got.
Burnt the tires, and then you're cruising home.
He's like 130 on the highway.
On the
He's like,
highway, you got the radio cranked. You look down, you're doing 115 miles an hour, and you're not even thinking about it. And you're like, dude, this is a fucking badass car. This is
yeah, just the fact that like his day
makes
changed
you know
because of that.
no
car.
day is gonna be perfect. It makes the
Makes
end
it
to that
just a
shitty
touch
day where a
better.
little touch better.
Fuck yeah.
Just like when you guys come in after a shitty day at work, and I cook you some good food, and make you a good cocktail, and
Hell.
put a
yeah.
smile on your face.
Dude.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, it goes both ways, and it's it's tough because like in my industry, we don't get those days every day like they do. Like people go there for relief. They don't. Not a lot of guys drive their hot rod for relief, and it's just really cool to hear that. So
If-
all good.
Before we go, somebody's out there listening right now, right? They want to cook something nice. What's the secret to making a pretty damn good, I'm not saying perfect, pretty damn good lobster roll at home?
Oh man, just hey, keep it simple. People will come in all the time. Like when you start with good ingredients, you don't have to do much to it. People come into the restaurant all the time, like, oh man, this is so good. This is awesome. Like, what'd you do to it? It's like, you start by buying good ingredients. If you're like starting with live lobsters and you're cooking them, blanching them at home, cook them, chill them. You want to make a lobster roll, shuck the meat, chop it up. Either just like you can do a traditional New England style is just tossing it with a little, we literally just do like mayonnaise, salt, and pepper. Keep it simple. Nothing else in
Damn.
it. When you get you just
Oh, I know.
tasted how sweet that meat is. You don't have to do much to it. And then we just take, we use a brioche roll, a little butter on it, put on the flat top and grill it. A little shaved iceberg lettuce so you get that little crunch to it. And that's really all you got to do. Or you could do a Connecticut style, as they call it, where you just take the fresh lobster meat, put it in a little saute pan with a little bit of butter, melt it, warm it up, a little tossy toss in the roll. Like very, very simple. You don't have to do much to it.
Damn.
But it all starts with It all starts
Good in,
with
good
like
out.
the quality ingredients.
It's
You
yeah,
know?
dude. It's just like a good cut of meat. You know, you can take and you can season the hell out of it if it sucks. But at the end, like if it's
Coat it
just
in
a,
Lowry's.
right, if it is a good cut of meat, it doesn't take much more than
Yeah, you just
Little
want those
salt
you
and
want,
pepper.
You want those natural flavors, juices, the sweetness, the brininess of the ocean
Right.
to come out in that.
Tell you what, this whole food talk thing, maybe this season we get into a little more food stuff. I tell you what, listeners, stick around into the season. I might give everybody a recipe on a fried bologna sandwich
That sounds like a treat.
if you're fucking lucky.
They're going to be hanging on
Mustard
the
or
edge
no
of their
mustard
seat.
on that?
Mustard
All right.
and crack and little mayonnaise, yellow mustard, fried bologna, cracked black pepper, and you're done.
And for those of you who are thinking about hanging around, you no longer need to.
But there's a secret ingredient that we're waiting to the end.
And we've just officially lost our last listener.
That's white bread.
Dude,
If that guy was hanging, he was.
we
gonna
may
be
have
here
lost
for
our last
40
listener,
something
but-
more.
if there's still one hanging on, dude, we can't leave without reviewing that
Oh,
because we failed to do this. Is the Oil and Whiskey podcast.
You want to review it?
Do you? Shall we?
I mean, if we're that's fine. Let's start. Let's do it.
Or should we not?
No, I don't have
I mean,
I don't have a pen.
all right.
But I can get a pen.
They're over there. Lobster, oysters, 10. Right, easy. That's fucking easy. That's fucking 10.
Yeah.
Right? But we dove into a few things. We drank the notch. The notch.
yep.
We
A
drank,
while back.
We almost
It's
killed a bottle here.
And
I forgot how good it was.
we reviewed it. It's phenomenal, dude.
It's
Really good. And that's a scotch, right? Isn't it a scotch? whiskey?
it's a
single
non-scotch.
malt whiskey.
Single malt
I don't
whiskey?
think they can call it Scotch because it's not
right.
made in Scotland.
Right. It's a peated American
Yes.
whiskey.
Yes.
I feel like we reviewed it. Didn't we?
We've reviewed
Yeah,
Notch for sure.
We did review it in the past. But that's the holy grail, right? If you're a bourbon guy, that's probably the number one to seek out.
Yeah.
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 Number one of all time. Greatest of all time. The goat.
What year? What?
That's the 20 year.
That's the 20.
20.
So Pappy 20. The 23 has always been the 23 is it's a little out there. Here. Yeah, top that off. You just the 23 is like the fucking Genko Copo, right? It almost doesn't exist, you know?
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
20 is the holy grail.
I will, before I give a review,
I would have liked it better with Coke.
I
Just throwing that out there right now.
Right.
you can leave.
Mexican Coke or just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Glass bottle of cane sugar. That's where it's at.
We've gone on record before many times as saying we really, really, really like the 12. The Pappy 12-year Lot B is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
There's about 3 that are bounce around there, depending on when I have them, that are my favorites. The 15-year Pappy is really, really good. However, it ranks below the 12 for me.
it does.
I don't know that I've had it yet.
However,
15? There's some right up there. If you want to sample it.
I don't know if it was just the night. I don't know if it was
It's good, man.
the $17,000 in lobster that we probably consumed. I don't know if it was starting with the notch. I don't know if it was just the good friends and the great conversation. I don't know. However, this 20-year hit just a little different tonight. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong.
Dude, I'm with you. I agree. It came off very sweet,
It was like,
very smooth.
fuck. I've only had this probably maybe 2 or 3 times ever before in my life.
And it was probably fake both of those times. Because that was
Watered
probably,
down.
it was probably at my house and I was fucking with you and I probably put Jack Daniels in it or something.
Okay.
Like Armenian.
Yeah, I'm like,
brandy.
you like it, dude? You like it? Is it good?
I'm not a big bourbon guy. This was very, very good. When you're checking out bourbon, are you doing like wine, like checking the legs on it?
I like to check the legs out because I'm a big viscosity guy.
Yeah,
I like the thickness and the mouthfeel.
Yeah, I mean, this is very, very good.
I'm not
Go
gonna
ahead,
touch it. You want
go
to?
with it. We've talked about it for 2.5 seasons now.
Yeah.
If you want to give me some shit about it, give me some shit about it.
No, I'm not.
It's a thing, right? We've talked about it. I know you don't like mouthfeel. I know you don't like the word or the connotation.
Right. No, it's
about
good.
what
It's
something
good to keep
feels
going.
like in my mouth.
Yeah. No, I'm not trying to make this weird. I agree with you 100%, right? The 12-year has always been, I've held that as the holy grail because I like it a lot. And it's probably, at this point, it's maybe because the 20 is not that obtainable, right? And you don't generally reach for it. You can't. So
It's a couple $100 if you find
yeah.
it.
But I'm gonna say
if you could find it.
I'm gonna say this is it was phenomenal. It was really fucking good, way sweeter, way smoother than I ever remember.
This is, man. It's gonna be a big number.
9.6.
Wow, that's wow.
Yeah,
This is there's bourbons out there that have like way more wilder flavors, right? But all around, from proof to flavor to smoothness to everything, it could be one of the best. It could be one of the
I
best.
think my review reflects that. That's I
Sum
think
it up in a number.
yeah, and I think it does. Short, like you can just say it, all those words, right? But I think that sums it up.
That's fine. I won't say any words. It's just a podcast where
Yes.
we talk.
Well,
I will give it a
rate it, dude. Fucking rate it.
I will give it a. I'll give it an.
That's a fucking review, dude.
It's a 9.6.
You know that's a
9.6.
yeah.
It's a 9.6. It's a
You know
9.6.
that's a
That was
solid
the
ass.
number I wanted to give.
You
it,
know
and then
that's a
you gave it,
solid
and then
ass
I had-
review.
yeah.
Do you think there's anything that could be better?
I don't.
There's things
You want
out
to
there
leave
I
a
haven't-
little.
There's
little
things
room?
I haven't tried, so I don't know. Nothing.
You
Well,
know,
first of all, nothing's a 10.
And you hit it too. It's not just what's in the bottle. It's the people that you're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the people that you're hanging with. Like I've just learned, like breaking bread with people, being in the food industry, like cooking meals, doing stuff like this. It's about who you're with.
Dude,
and,
we could
and
have
what
fucking
you're doing.
fried bologna sandwiches on a good ass
Yeah,
camp
hell
night
yeah.
and have a fucking good
Yeah,
night.
right.
Well, dude, I mean, honestly,
Hey, we've sat on the tailgate of a Beta Legends truck in 2020 when you guys were like, "Hey, we got this idea. We're gonna build these fucking shitbox trucks, but we're gonna make them real cool." Sat on the back of those on a tailgate of that truck, eating,
Dude, we had pizza from, like, Domino's,
eating
right?
like Domino's
Yeah.
pizza and drinking Cabernet and smoking cigars.
He was making old fashions on the square body,
yeah,
and they were really good.
yeah.
What's the number?
I was gonna go 9.5. I can go 9.6. I don't think there's anything better out
You mean to
there.
give you a 9.55? Let me give you a 9.55.
Just to fuck with
I'll
you.
give you
make
an- I'll give
I
you
want
an-
to test your
Dude,
handwriting.
let's give it for the first time. Let's
9.6
go
across the board.
across the board 9.6s. Yeah.
This is the first time I ever drank it and actually like in a
Savored it.
social setting and
Thought
enjoyed
about it.
It's
Well-
always been like I'll have a sip on like a special occasion for something like really, really special that you're just gonna crack it open and
Yeah.
Dude,
Right.
it's about the
it's-
fucking camaraderie. It's about the company, man.
Yeah.
That bottle sat up there for 3. I think probably 3. First it sat
probably-
up there for a
yeah.
couple of years. Then it sat in here for a couple of years. That bottle's probably 4 or 5 years old. And
you
then,
look up the barcode on the
Right.
side, it gives you the date.
but it was the
Should be a
appropriate
printed
time
number
to
on
open
the
it up
bottle.
with the right fucking guys, and it's where it's at, man. It's
Don't pour it out.
Yeah.
I'm not. 2012?
Yeah, it's on the glass. There's like a number code. It's really hard to see, but it's printed. Then you can look it up, and it says what.
Did this come from Garfield's Liquor Emporium?
The
probably
only
Yeah.
number that's on there is
yeah.
2012.
How far away is Garfield's place from here?
He's got a bunch of them, but the nearest one is probably about 20 minutes from here.
Oh, that's not bad. So he's in the area.
Yeah. Yeah, he's probably got, I mean, shit, Dave's probably got about a dozen stores now.
He's a fucking emporium.
Yeah.
I mean, dude,
Right.
So
it's
he's
fucking huge.
That's a big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
games.
It's not a liquor store. It's a warehouse and emporium.
No shit.
Kind of a big deal.
Hey, can I tell you guys that while we're talking about Garfield, I have his 61 Impala Survivor Series. Probably was that one of the, that had to have been one of the first 4 or 5
It was.
Survivor Series cars you did.
Yep.
That car has like 21,000 miles on it now. I've had it for, I don't know, 4.5 years now.
Drive it like a Camry.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, just fucking jump in it, turn the
I've
key.
never had to put a battery tender on it. I've like literally done nothing but put fuel in it and change the oil.
It's awesome, dude.
It's unbelievable. That car is like bulletproof. Never had to like recharge the AC.
I think Dave's like super pissed that he sold it.
Yeah.
He can buy it back.
No,
Hey,
he doesn't want to sell it.
Hey,
Eventually.
I bought it from Saxon, and then I had a guy kept hitting me up to buy it, and he caught me on the right day, and I fucking sold the thing to him. And then 11 months later, he called me and was like, "Hey, I got a chance to buy Jeremy's favorite car, Ford GT." And he was like, "Wife said I got to sell a couple cars if I get the Ford GT."
Yet another fucking guy with the Ford GT.
No,
What's
hey.
that? What's that?
And I ended up buying it back from the guy 11
What's
months
that
later.
dude's name? That
The
the guy you bought it from?
Mark LaCurley.
Yeah.
Yeah. Real good guy.
Yeah.
You know him as GT Jones because he's got a GT.
GT Joe.
I'm gonna drive.
GT for.
I'm gonna drive my fucking GT right through your fucking living room.
You don't
window.
have a GT.
That's
When
gonna,
I do.
That's going to hurt the resale value.
So you're gonna say your future GT?
Yeah.
Fuck, dude. At that time, I'll be living.
you got
in
one
fucking
picked out yet?
space.
What's that?
You got one picked out yet?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there's a Fiero with a GT body.
Perfect.
Is he going to park it right next to your Miata?
It's fucking crazy specifically on the Survivor cars, but Roadster Shop cars in general. Nobody's listening anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But it's really weird how, like, they don't go up for sale a lot, you know? And it's, it's traded between inner customers and stuff like that. It's really crazy to see some of, especially over the last 5 or 6, 7 years, some of the high-end Survivor cars of, like, who's got this one and who's got that one, and they kind of, like, round robin through the circle.
So there's like 4 or 5 people that have owned a couple of them.
It's not like
Right.
anybody can just be like, oh, fucking one will pop up tomorrow and I'll buy one. Yeah,
Dude, you never. I look all the time.
yeah, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. If anybody's listening, thanks for listening.
Yeah, at this
It's
point.
2015.
2015.
2015.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Shit.
That
That was probably.
well, why does it say it's 20 years old? It's only 2023.
2015, Dave probably pulled that out of inventory during the Impala build. That might be like the
Payment for 20.
well, I'm trying to think. That could have been like the steering column installation.
Check out Chris Cerce Customs on Instagram, B-Body Dave, Lobster Trap, Trading Post Lounge.
Get your ass to the Lobster Trap.
This episode was brought to you by the Lobster Trap and Chris Cerce Customs. Thanks again for listening to Oil and Whiskey with the Roadster Shop and Ironclad Original. Let's face it, if you're around by now,
Thanks for hanging in there.
thanks for hanging in there. Don't even worry about hey, this one's on us. Don't give us a rating or review. See you again next week.